Hollywood director 1992. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination. So don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like. And if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 101. Look, there's a beautiful woman. Do you believe in ghosts? The Blair Witch legend sounds familiar. My sister went to Blair High School, and around Christmas, the forest there crawls on the ground like it has legs. Thud. Ben, why did you throw the script? Pick it up, let's continue rehearsing. Inside the villa, Matt Damon was reciting his lines when he saw Ben Affleck throw down the script and sprawl on the sofa. I don't want to recite anymore. Ben Affleck grabbed the bottle of Coke, gulped it down, and started stuffing potato chips into his mouth. Why, this script looks terrible. The plot is boring, the characters are boring. Will anyone watch this kind of movie? Of course. This is Link's movie. Are you questioning whether anyone will watch Link's movies? Matt Damon retorted. Let's not talk about Link, just the plot of this script. Is the plot interesting? This movie is about 3 college students who, after reading reports about the Blair Witch Project, team up to explore Illinois, interviewing people along the way, and eventually getting lost in the forest and killed by the witch. It looks like a fantasy adventure movie, but the script doesn't mention the witch at all. There are no special effects or fight scenes, and no plot where the male and female leads team up to outwit and kill the witch. Instead, they get killed by the witch. This kind of plot perfectly avoids all the exciting parts, making the whole movie bland and boring. I bet very few people will go see this movie after it's released. Ben Affleck slumped on the sofa, eating as he spoke, his jaw seemingly cracked, with many potato chips falling onto his hoodie. I don't think so. You've seen Barrett in Paranormal Activity. If I showed you the script before you watched the movie, would you think those 2 movies were good? Matt Damon asked. It seems so. You mean, turning this script into a movie would make it better? Obviously. Actors and directors think differently. What we see is a simple script, a boring plot, but in a director's mind, the script is 3-dimensional and vibrant, with color, sound, action, a terrifying atmosphere, and maybe even special effects. Combining all these elements would definitely be amazing. I'm not sure. But I think choosing the Blair Witch Project and giving up school days and Dazed and Reckless seems a bit impulsive. We've already given up on them. There's no point in saying this now. We've worked on this movie for many days. Now, we should focus on rehearsing the script well, playing our roles well, and trying to make this movie even better. What do you say? Matt Damon extended his hand to Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck smirked and used the momentum to stand up from the sofa. The 2 continued rehearsing. Ring ring, the phone rang. Matt Damon put down the script and answered the phone. It was a call from Agent Patrick Weitzel, informing the 2 that SC Pictures was preparing to begin filming the Blair Witch Project and asking them to come to the company for a script meeting and a test shoot. Yay! Filming's finally starting. Ben Affleck excitedly pumped his fist. Wait, Patrick, any news from Castle Rock Pictures? When are they planning to film Good Will Hunting? Matt Damon asked. No news yet, I'll let you know if I do. Okay. After hanging up, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck drove to SC Pictures for the script meeting and test shoot. I really don't understand why Link named his company SC. It doesn't sound impressive at all. If it were my film company, I'd call it 21st Century Pictures, Roaring Lions Pictures, Galaxy Pictures, anything better than SC Pictures, Ben Affleck rumbled, looking at the SC Pictures logo. Guess what, Film Studios is pretty good too. Just hearing the name makes you wonder, guess what, why is it called that? Curiosity will make you remember this film company. Besides, Link's first 2 movies were thrillers and suspense films, so guess what also indicates what kind of movies this company mainly makes. Why aren't you leaving? Just then, Matt Damon bumped into Ben Affleck's shoulder. Look, a beautiful woman, a real beauty. Ben Affleck gestured with his chin towards the front. A tall, beautiful woman walked down the aisle, wearing a white shirt and a black skirt, her beautiful long curly hair cascading over her shoulders, her skin fair and full. Her face was particularly sexy, long eyelashes made her eyes appear large, and her red lips made her even more stunning. She possessed a charm that American women didn't usually have, making her very eye-catching. That's Miss Bellucci, Link's girlfriend. Don't look around, Matt Damon tugged at Ben and whispered. I saw the news about Link and Jennifer Connelly in the newspaper the other day, saying they were dating. How come Miss Bellucci is also Link's girlfriend? That's Link's private matter, don't say anything more. Miss Bellucci is here. Matt Damon quickly released Ben Affleck and politely greeted Monica Bellucci. Ben Affleck also quickly composed himself and greeted her politely. Are you Matt and Ben? Monica Bellucci stopped, glanced at the two of them, and said with a smile, I've heard Link mention you, and your experience on the train. Come on up, Link is waiting for you in his office. Okay, Miss Bellucci, goodbye, Miss Bellucci. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck turned and waved, watching Monica leave in her high heels. Monica is so beautiful, Ben Affleck murmured. Don't talk nonsense. So, is Link's girlfriend Monica or Jennifer Connelly? That's none of our business. We're here to film a movie, not to gossip. You'd better be serious, I know. But aren't you curious, or are they both Link's girlfriends? God, Link is so lucky. When I'm rich, I'm going to find 2 girlfriends, no, 3, one more than Link. Link's here. The two arrived at the movie's office area and saw Link bringing a blonde girl over. Although this girl wasn't as sexy and hot as Monica, she was good looking, had a good temperament, and looked beautiful. Looks like I'll have to find 4, otherwise I can't possibly have as many as Link, Ben Affleck muttered. Matt Damon stepped on his toes. Ben Affleck gasped, his expression instantly contorting. Hey Matt, Ben, welcome to Guess the Movies. It's almost noon, how about we go to the KFC downstairs and chat while we eat? Okay, whatever you say, Matt Damon laughed. Chapter 102 Filming begins. Ben, what happened to your foot? Link noticed Ben Affleck was limping as they went downstairs. Oh? It's nothing, I just tripped on a metal plate. I'll be fine after moving it around a bit. Ben Affleck quickly stomped his foot a few times to indicate it was nothing serious. That's good. We'll start filming the Blair Witch Project next week. The shoot will last about 10 days. You guys prepare in advance, Link said as they walked, introducing Renee Zellweger to the 2 men beside him. The 3 of them would be filming the movie together, so getting to know each other would be easier. Arriving at the KFC downstairs from the office, Link ordered some fried chicken and drinks, discussing the script with the 3 of them while they ate. This script was simpler to film than Paranormal Activity. It was all location shooting, requiring no background music, no lighting, not much acting, and not many props. The requirements for filming were very low. It was indeed more like a documentary. What he needed to tell the 3 of them was that, regardless of whether they believed in witches in Illinois or not, they should try to film with curiosity and treat a Blair Witch Project as a real entity. A wicked witch who has lived in the forest for hundreds of years, who prefers to roam at night, hangs strange ornaments in the woods, and lures people to corners to kill them. Only after acknowledging this can everyone show excitement and anticipation before their mission, and curiosity, fear, despair, and hysteria during their forest adventure. To make their portrayal more realistic, the audience will believe the Blair Witch Project is real and will come to the movie with curiosity. If it's not realistic, it won't fool the audience. This is why Link invited them here for KFC, to prepare them psychologically before filming, to help them immerse themselves in their roles and the story in the script. Anyone who can't do it can leave. Link, can I ask you a question? Ben Affleck asked, eating fried chicken. Ask away, ask anything. Link, will anyone watch this kind of film? Last time when you were promoting Paranormal Activity, you also said it was a true documentary, but it wasn't, and many media outlets accused you of false advertising. Now you're using the same method with a Blair Witch Project, so audiences probably won't fall for it again. If nobody watches it, won't this movie lose money? Ben Affleck asked. Before filming Paranormal Activity, I publicly stated that my first few films were experimental, using film as a tool for experimentation. I didn't care about box office returns or reviews. I was filming entirely according to my personal ideas. Whether anyone watched the film or not was unimportant. Even if I knew no one would watch it, I would still continue to complete the work according to my preconceived notions. Link, your idea is very cool, Matt Damon interjected before Ben Affleck could. This film has a low budget, so even if the box office is lower than expected, you won't lose anything. Using this kind of script for experimentation is indeed very suitable. In addition, Barrett and Paranormal Activity were also your experimental works, and they were huge hits after their release. This Blair Witch Project also has the potential to be a box office success. In other words, if this film fails, you won't lose anything. If it succeeds, you'll have another blockbuster film. This experiment is very worthwhile, Link laughed and said, Matt, you're right. Another point is that I'm a new director, not familiar with all aspects of directing. I need more practice before I can direct a big production. The scripts for Buried, Paranormal Activity, and Blair Witch Project are very simple and suitable for practice, which is why I chose to film them. Hearing this, Ben Affleck's lips twitched a few times. Link claimed to be a new director, unsure how to make movies, and needing more practice. This sounded perfectly reasonable, without a single flaw. However, the films he used for practice, Buried and Paranormal Activity, one achieved a 3,500x return on investment, and the other became the year's box office champion with a return of over 20,000x. They crushed a host of top Hollywood directors at the box office. And this Link still claimed he didn't know how to make movies and was still practicing. If those big-name directors in the industry heard this, they would absolutely go crazy and hate Link to death. Ben, is there any other question? Oh, no, that's all. Using low-budget films to practice is perfectly reasonable. Film school directing students often do this, it's just that they're not as good as you, and nobody watches their films, Ben Affleck said. Renee Zellweger chimed in, those directing students in college are incredibly envious of Link, who made Buried and Paranormal Activity with only $20,000 and earned hundreds of millions at the box office. Now, many directing students are learning from Link, controlling costs to make films, and then trying their luck in Hollywood. Media reports say that Hollywood film companies have received hundreds of videotapes from directing students in the past few months. The media has also raised the question, who will be the next Link? So far, only Robert Rodriguez has succeeded. Link shook his head, not optimistic about those copycat new directors. They lack good scripts, solid directing skills, and box office subsidies, making their risk of losing money extremely high. However, he found it interesting that he had single-handedly led many new directors astray. Link continued eating fried chicken and drinking beer, discussing the script with the three. After Sofia Coppola arrived, Link took the group to the studio rented by the company for a test shoot, mainly of the scene where the female lead departs and the three actors meet. The test shoot went poorly. The main reason was that the three of them hadn't adjusted their mindset. They overacted in front of the camera, making the performances seem artificial and unrealistic. Cut, Rennie, don't be so serious in front of the camera. Relax, think of it as if you're filming a home video. Why don't you try taking a selfie with a camera? In the room, Link stood behind the camera tripod and said, okay, let me try. Renee Zellweger smiled, walked over, adjusted the camera a few times, set it to automatic shooting mode, then took a few steps back, facing the camera and smiling, okay, this is my home. I'll be leaving this weekend to visit the legendary Blair Witch Project. These are the reference books I've prepared, including basic reading, How to Survive in the Forest and Because You Don't Know What's Going to Be. This is a very important book, it explains what happened in Coffee. It looks old. And this is my wilderness survival notebook. Renee Zellweger held the camera and filmed the reference books on the table. Cut, not bad, slightly better than the last one, but the immersion is still not strong enough. You need to further strengthen your identification with the character. Okay, I'll get to work on it, Renee Zellweger smiled. Link also tried out Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's scenes in the room. The two were well prepared, having memorized their lines perfectly. During the rehearsal, Ben Affleck fared slightly better because he was very relaxed, with a carefree attitude that perfectly matched the character's persona. Matt Damon, on the other hand, was too serious and not relaxed enough, like he was acting in a stage play. Link talked to Matt, giving him some psychological guidance and pointing out how to film. The second rehearsal went slightly better. Alright, rehearsal over. Everyone performed better than expected. If you have no problems, we will officially begin filming the Blair Witch Project next Monday. We expect to film for 10 days. Please make your work arrangements accordingly and try not to take leave during filming. Any questions? Link asked. No. I'm free anytime. Renee Zellweger shrugged and smiled. Me too. Alright then, that concludes today's meeting. Chapter 103 Taking on Side Hustles. After Matt Damon and Ben Affleck left, Link and Sofia Coppola returned to the company and gave them some instructions. What? You want me to direct this movie? Sophia looked surprised. Yes, I have other work and don't have time to go to Illinois with you to film. But I've prepared a script. If you shoot according to the diagrams in this script, it's practically impossible to make a mistake. Link pulled out the script he had drawn up recently. The script included shot designs for each scene, dialogue, acting methods, set design, shooting methods, lighting, makeup, character positioning, etc. It practically presented the entire plot of the film in illustrative form. With a script, any director with a modicum of skill could make it. Sophia had studied photography and had also studied film directing under Capella, so this kind of documentary-style film wouldn't be too difficult for her. Sophia flipped through the thick script, becoming more and more astonished. This script was even more detailed than her father's drawings. Shooting according to the script was like copying an assignment. The difficulty was almost non-existent. But, I'm not ready to be a director yet, Sophia said hesitantly. She joined Link's crew because she wanted to learn filmmaking from him and see how he turned a low-budget film into a blockbuster that everyone loved. She had also considered directing, but not now. This was too sudden. It's okay. Daniel DeVito will be the executive producer, overseeing every aspect of filming. Guess what? The production department will assign 2 assistant directors to help you. Also, I'll come to the set as a producer after I finish my work to oversee things for you. During filming, you can treat this film like a practice project. Just do it your way, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. If you're worried about the film not being good enough and facing criticism after it's finished, you don't have to be credited, Link said. Sounds good, but you're the director, and the Blair Witch Project is your film. What work could be more important than making a movie right now? It's not about picking up girls, is it? The news says you and Jennifer Connelly are having an affair. Is that true? Don't talk nonsense. Jennifer and I have the same agent. It's normal for us to see each other more often. This is the work I've been busy with lately. Link handed Sophia a beautifully packaged book. What? Sophia looked at the title. It was Interstellar. The cover showed a person in a spacesuit floating in the dark of space, surrounded by data. The author's name, Link, was also on the cover. Did you write this? I wrote a few science fiction stories in my spare time and submitted them to Tor Books. They said they were good and agreed to publish them. After Interstellar was published, it sold quite well, and publishers from all over invited me to book signings. I couldn't refuse, so I had to leave the film crew to you and focus on this first. You're quite versatile. I'm giving you this book so I can see how you write it. Sophia left with the book. When she got to the parking lot, she didn't rush to drive. She took out Interstellar and leaned over the steering wheel to read it. Originally, she only intended to read 1 chapter to see how good the book was. But she ended up reading all night and couldn't resist starting the next chapter. The more she read, the more addicted she became, and her eyes got tired, making it hard to even see the words clearly. She looked up and saw it was dark outside. Sophia drove home quickly, not even bothering to eat, and hurriedly went into her bedroom to continue reading. Interstellar, with over 1,030 pages and 533,000 words, is divided into 8 science fiction stories, 3 novellas and 8 short stories, including Interstellar, The Martian, The Man from Earth, Gravity, Source Code, and Edge of Tomorrow. Each story is incredibly captivating. These science fiction stories depict many aspects of the future world, including interstellar orbits, self-driving cars, electric cars everywhere, electric tanks, nuclear-powered aircraft, drones, Starlink, and rocket recovery using electromagnetic nets. They also cover touchscreen phones, touchscreen computers, live streaming, communication tools implanted in the cerebral cortex, photography technology implanted in the corners of the eyes, intelligent robots, and the internet and AI. Furthermore, they explore Mars, Jupiter, the Moon, black hole theories, space jumps, contact with extraterrestrials, interstellar wars, and other interstellar exploration. While these topics have appeared in previous science fiction novels, none have been described with such detail, realism, and vividness as in Interstellar, making it feel like a personal experience. Sophia was completely engrossed, reading until after 4 a.m. before finally finishing it in one sitting. After waking up at noon, Sophia, disheveled, came out of her bedroom looking for something to eat, only to be slowly scolded by her mother. "Sophia, what were you doing last night? Why did you sleep until noon, reading? You were reading all night? Was it a serious book?" "Of course. Science fiction, Sophia picked up Interstellar and waved it at her mother. Sophia, when did you start liking science fiction? I remember you preferred those mindless romance novels, Sophia's brother teased. HMPH, I can't be bothered with you. Dad, a really great science fiction novel just came out, have you read it? Sophia asked, sitting at the dining table. No, what science fiction? Here, you can borrow it for a bit, but return it quickly when you're done. I want to read it again. Sophia handed Interstellar to Director Coppola. Director Coppola took the novel and glanced at it. Link? The Link who makes movies? Yes, he writes novels too. Seeing that the author was Link, Director Coppola lost interest in opening it. While Link's screenplays were good, what kind of good story could a screenwriter possibly write? You read it first, don't jump to conclusions so quickly, Sophia said, displeased. Out of respect for Sophia, Director Coppola opened the novel, intending to read a few pages, point out some flaws, and then tell Sophia not to overestimate Link. Compared to her father, he was still too green. However, after reading the first story, The Martian, Director Coppola smacked his lips a few times and couldn't resist rereading it carefully. He was surprised to find that this science fiction novel was indeed excellent. Both the plot design and the detailed descriptions were very sci-fi, describing the science and technology of the future world, the changing lifestyles of humans in the technological age, and reflecting on the relationship between technological development and humanity. The novel skillfully blends hard and soft science fiction, two distinct genres that are often found in traditional science fiction, resulting in a remarkably pure and authentic work of science fiction. It's a rare find in recent years, a science fiction novel that truly resonates with readers' tastes. Director Coppola smacked his lips a few times and continued reading the second and third stories. Dad, are you finished? I want to read too. Sophia came over after breakfast. Director Coppola ignored her, waved his hand, and went into his study with his book. Sophia rolled her eyes, the old man was just being hypocritical. Since she hadn't finished reading, she drove to the Beverly Avenue bookstore and bought all 16 remaining books, keeping one for herself and giving the rest away as gifts to people in the neighborhood. Chapter 104 New book available. Link, you're amazing. Interstellar is fantastic. I opened it yesterday and couldn't put it down. Even my dad and director George Lucas loved it and praised your talent. In his office, Link received a call from Sofia Coppola. They read my book too? I'm so glad they liked it. I recommended it. My dad said the stories in the novel are fantastic and perfect for a movie adaptation. Director Lucas said he got creative inspiration from your book and plans to incorporate some of it into the Star Wars sequels. They also hope to have time to talk to you. Link, you're incredible. I've never seen them praise a young person so much, except you. Sofia Coppola's voice was filled with joy. Thank you so much for recommending the book. You're amazing too, the most talented girl I've ever met among my peers, really, of course. I agreed to let you join my crew not because you're pretty, but because you're incredibly talented and have a unique charm that sets you apart from other girls. I think we'll have a great working relationship, haha. Would you say yes if I asked you out? When? Where? Wait, not now. I have to go to New York for a book signing, and the movie's about to start filming. You need to get busy, okay, boss? I'll make sure the movie is great. By the way, your book is fantastic. After a few more words, Link hung up the phone, sat down, and flipped through the newspaper. The Los Angeles Times had a front-page headline, featuring a short review of Interstellar by renowned science fiction author Larry Niven. Niven expressed his delight at the book's appearance, praising it as a highly imaginative and creative work, offering both a vision of the future and profound reflections on it, making it a must-read for all readers who enjoy interstellar and time travel stories. Before he could finish reading the reviews, the phone on his desk rang again. Lee Uzieli told him that Liz Greensky, the deputy editor-in-chief of Tor Books, was online. Good morning, Liz, haha, Link, guess how many copies of Interstellar have sold this week? Liz Greensky laughed on the phone. How many? Liz Greensky told Link in a very excited tone. Interstellar sold out its first print run of 50,000 copies in its first week of release, and now publishers everywhere are calling Torge orders, with pre-orders reaching 200,000 copies. The publisher is preparing to print a second batch of 500,000 copies. If all 500,000 copies sell out, Interstellar is expected to enter the top 10 of this year's science fiction bestseller list. Can 500,000 copies sell out? Science fiction is a relatively niche genre, with a small readership. Apart from works by famous science fiction authors like Larry Niven and Edgar Rice Burroughs, it's difficult for books by new authors to sell out. Haha, 500,000 copies is definitely no problem. The response to Interstellar has been fantastic since it went on sale. The publisher gets calls from readers every day praising this science fiction collection. I called Larry Niven and Arthur C. Clarke to ask them to write reviews, and they readily agreed, praising your book as excellent. So, let alone 500,000 copies, 5 million is possible. Haha, that's great news. Link and Greensky discussed the follow-up distribution. Releasing a novel is similar to releasing a movie or album. It requires spending money on promotion to expand the novel's influence, including media interviews, book signings in various locations, fan meetings, and science fiction author salons. Good promotion can boost sales. Link, how many copies did you sell? Seeing him hang up the phone, Liu Xiaoli asked eagerly. 50,000 copies sold out last week. That's great, Link, you're amazing. Liu Xiaoli looked at him with admiration, her beautiful almond-shaped eyes shining. It's alright, Link smiled gently. He hadn't expected his 40% original science fiction novel, which he had modified, to be so popular after its release. Sister Xiaoli, for the next 2 weeks, I'll be promoting the novel. You and Michael will handle things at the company. If you encounter any problems, you can call me, or wait until I get back, okay? Do you want me to come with you? I can take care of you. Liu Xiaoli leaned closer to him and said gently. No need. Book signings require traveling to different cities, which is quite troublesome and not suitable for you. Besides, the publisher and book company have assigned assistants, so you don't need to worry, okay? Be careful and take care of yourself. Don't work too hard every day. You're the big boss now. Delegate things to others, you don't need to do it yourself. Your health is the most important thing, Liu Xiaoli whispered in his ear. Sister Xiaoli, you're so kind. Link looked at her rosy cheeks and couldn't help but pull her into his arms, feeling her heartbeat and the warmth of her body. You? What are you doing? Don't do this, let go. It's not good if others see. Liu Xiaoli's face instantly turned red. She quickly glanced at the door and started punching his back with her fists, each punch lighter than the last. Sister Xiaoli, you are the closest person to me, and the best person to me. I can't live without you anymore. Please don't leave me, okay? Let me take care of you. With me here, no one will bully you. And Kyankian, Lin K hugged her waist, his chin resting on her forehead, and whispered in her ear. Liu Xiaoli gradually calmed down, and the fragrance on her body became warm and gentle, not just perfume, but also a very alluring natural scent that made one's heart flutter. Liu Xiaoli rolled her eyes, her cheeks flushed. You bad boy, don't try to sweet-talk me. No one here will bully me except you. It's mainly because you're too easy to bully. Lin K stroked her cheek, feeling the softness of her skin with the back of his hand. His fingers brushed through her loose hair, tucking it behind her ear to reveal her delicate, pretty face, a touch of shy charm. When she was shy, her cheeks became even more beautiful and radiant, a hint of allure in her eyes. Every frown and smile revealed a captivating charm that made one's heart race. Legend has it that such women are naturally alluring, easily causing men to fall for them and become physically exhausted. Is it true? Lin K lowered his head, kissing her lotus-like cheeks and rose-colored lips. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through his foot. He gasped, forced to temporarily release the woman in his arms. Little Lin, what did you just say? You said I'm easy to bully? Are you sure? Liu Xiaoli said, hands on her hips, a half smile on her face. Hiss, I was sure before, but now I'm not so sure. Liu Xiaoli, aren't you a bit too ruthless? That kick almost ruined my foot, haha. To deal with a pervert like you, you have to go all out. I'll make you feel the pain, and see if you dare to take advantage of me again next time. Liu Xiaoli curled her lips, her eyes slightly shining. As if bullying others excited her. I wouldn't dare. You're a heroine, only you can bully others, no one can bully you. Link sat on the sofa rubbing the back of his foot. You know that's good. Liu Xiaoli squatted down to massage his foot. Knock knock knock. Boss, are you busy? Daniel DeVito asked at the door. Come in. Liu Xiaoli walked to the door, opened it, and invited Daniel DeVito in. Boss, the set of the Blair Witch Project is ready, all the extras have been found, and we can start filming at any time, Daniel said. Call Sophia and gather the crew to start filming. We can't delay any longer. If it snows, filming will be inconvenient. Okay, I'll let them know later. Boss, what happened to your foot? Ouch, nothing, just kicked a metal plate. PFFT Liuziali couldn't help but laugh. Chapter 105 New Book Sales. The next day, the Blair Witch Project crew assembled, with Daniel DeVito and Sophia each leading a team to begin filming. Link attended the Blair Witch Project's opening ceremony in Los Angeles and then joined the Interstellar promotional team for book signings in major American cities. Due to his celebrity status, the book's high quality, and endorsements from numerous renowned science fiction writers and celebrities after its release, Interstellar's popularity soared. Sales climbed, selling 50,000 copies in its first week. Interstellar gained widespread recognition in the publishing world, attracting attention to the book and its author, Link. The following week, the publishing company began promotional activities, and Link continued his book signings, further boosting sales. The second week saw 217,000 copies sold, propelling it to fourth place on the New York Times weekly bestseller list. Based on current sales trends, Interstellar's first month sales are projected to exceed 800,000 copies, with a potential to sell 5 million copies within the next year. According to his contract with a publisher, he would receive a 15% royalty share after the release of Interstellar. A hardcover copy of Interstellar sold for $52, and a paperback for $42. If 50,000 copies were sold, he would receive approximately $360,000. 500,000 copies, $3.6 million, and 5 million copies, $36 million, more than many movies earn. Furthermore, the huge success of Interstellar would make its film, television, and game rights extremely valuable. Even if he didn't plan to direct it, selling the rights to other film companies would still generate substantial profits. Therefore, he would try his best to attend any book company invitations to promote the novel. With his and the publisher's tireless promotion, the novel Interstellar's influence in the United States grew significantly, even reaching his peers in the entertainment industry. Link, did you really write Interstellar? Quentin Tarantino called urgently while Link was attending a book signing at the Louisville City Library. Yeah, have you read the book? Shit. How could you possibly have written this? You're so busy every day, making movies, managing the company, and chasing girls. Where do you find the time to write a book? Hundreds of thousands of words, Quentin Tarantino questioned. I remember someone saying that time is like water in a sponge, you can always squeeze some out. After finishing work each day, I squeeze out a few hours to write, a few thousand words a day. It took me about half a year to finish this book, not too fast, Link laughed. Damn it, after you finish work, you don't rest properly, you squeeze out time to write a book? To write a bestseller? Yeah, otherwise what do I do with the rest of my time after work? Isn't it better to drink, watch TV, and play cards? It's meaningless, like wasting my life, HMPH. You bastard, you're so despicable. Your movies are all box office hits, winning the annual box office champion, and you've become a best-selling author. You're only 20 years old, what are we, your peers, supposed to do with this? Quentin said through gritted teeth on the phone. I remember you're almost 30 this year, not exactly our age, right? Get lost. Quentin slammed down the phone angrily, then sent a text message shortly after, congratulating him on his new book's success and asking him to treat everyone when he got back. Besides Quentin, Steven Soderbergh, Robert Rodriguez, Tim Robbins, Jim Carrey, Joan Chen, Brooke Shields, Bruce Willis, Robert Shea, Harvey Weinstein, and others also called. Some congratulated him on the book's success, praising its quality. Others asked when he would return to Los Angeles and wanted his autograph. Since he became a best-selling author, everyone seemed to have become more enthusiastic. Jennifer Connelly called him several times after the release of Interstellar, excitedly saying the book was fantastic. She had read it 5 times and still found it fascinating, asking him how he could write such a brilliant science fiction novel. Link said she was an alien, and she was dating and making love with an alien. Jennifer Connelly laughed incessantly after hearing this, also thinking he was an alien because he was so skilled and greedy in bed, unlike a normal person. She even asked him when he would return to Los Angeles, expressing her strong desire to date and make love with this alien. Link said he would come back to make love to her on the weekend. When Monica first called him, She said she had nothing to do in Los Angeles and asked if she could accompany him to a book signing and see the sights with him. Link agreed. After Monica flew over, she became his assistant, sharing some of his work, taking care of his daily needs, and being even more considerate towards him than before. In its third week of release, Interstellar sold 426,000 copies across the United States. It ranked third on the New York Times weekly bestseller list, second only to Robert James Waller's new work, The Bridges of Madison County, and John Graysek's novel Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Cumulative sales reached 690,000 copies, exceeding the publisher's prediction by more than 100,000 copies. This also indicates that the book is indeed of good quality and readers enjoy it. It is projected to sell 1 million copies in its first month. Damn it, isn't Link a director? Why is he writing books? How can so many people read this rubbish? Don't they all have brains? In a coffee shop, Robert Downey Jr. flipped through the Los Angeles Times. After seeing the news of Link's new book's bestseller status, he felt extremely uncomfortable, as if he had swallowed a fly. Maybe so. Link didn't go to college, his cultural level isn't high, and the movies he makes are all B-movies with little cultural depth. Those uncultured people like to watch them. Interstellar is the same, Kiefer Sutherland said. Actor David Duchovny nodded, indicating his agreement with their views. Hey, are you guys serious? Julia Roberts put down her coffee spoon and looked at the group. After Interstellar was released, Larry Niven, Arthur C. Clarke, and many university professors recommended the book, saying it was of very high quality. And you guys say it's bad, only uncultured people like to read it? Have you even read it? No need. What good Link, someone who didn't even go to college, right? University professors recommending it? For the right price, I can get the president to recommend my movies, Robert Downey Jr. said dismissively. Wow, you're really something. When Chaplin was released, you brought in half the entertainment industry for promotion. Why didn't you ask the president for help? Were you worried the box office would be too bad and you wouldn't recoup your costs? Julia Roberts sneered. Julia, shut up, Kiefer Sutherland glared at her fiercely. Chapter 106 Returning to the film crew. Robert Downey Jr.'s face darkened. After the release of Chaplin, many people helped promote it, but it was still crushed at the box office by that damned Barrett. This was his shame, Oscar. And that damned Julia Roberts actually brought it up to his face. Robert, don't take it to heart. She's not well educated, has little knowledge, and doesn't know how to speak properly. It's not worth getting angry over her words, Kiefer Sutherland advised. HMPH, yeah, you lot are so educated, always looking down on this and that, but in reality, you probably haven't even finished a book over 100 pages long, let alone written one. Even if Link is useless, he's written several excellent screenplays, directed to films that have made history, sold 700,000 copies of his science fiction novel in 3 weeks, and received praise from a bunch of professors. And what have you all done besides drinking, doing drugs, and being jealous of Link? Nothing, not a single thing. I really don't understand how people like you dare to look down on Link. Get out. Julia, get out of here, Kiefer Sutherland yelled. Fine, I'm leaving. I don't even want to have coffee with you guys. Julia Roberts picked up her small handbag and left without looking back. Robert Downey Jr. cursed fuck, kicked over a chair, overturned the coffee table, and stormed out of the coffee shop. Kiefer Sutherland shrugged, and the meeting ended unpleasantly. After the third week sales figures for Interstellar were released, Link received not only congratulations but also numerous calls from film companies and renowned producers. Film companies wanted to acquire the film and television rights to several Interstellar novels, with offers reaching $10 million for the adaptation rights to 3 novellas. Link didn't concede, but he didn't completely reject the offer either, expressing interest in collaborating with major film companies on several film projects in the future. In the book publishing industry, while promotion and book signings can boost sales, the most effective way is to adapt the novel into a film or television series, transforming it into globally recognized intellectual property. For example, the Harry Potter series, the Hunger Games series, the Twilight series, and 50 Shades of Grey all achieved global success due to successful film adaptations. Adapting a novel into a film could generate double the revenue. Link naturally wouldn't refuse. However, current special effects technology is not advanced enough to film many scenes from the book. Furthermore, film companies that acquire the adaptation rights might not immediately begin filming, or they might first produce a poorly made film to secure the rights. This approach wouldn't do much good for promoting Interstellar. Link planned to stay a few years, waiting for Guessing Pictures to grow stronger before collaborating with other film companies on big-budget productions like this. Interstellar sold well, and the publisher and book companies were overjoyed, deciding to invest more money in promoting the book. Link's schedule became even busier, flying to at least 5 cities a week for more than 10 book signings. After more than 20 days of continuous travel and attending over 40 signing events, Link returned to Los Angeles at the end of the month to join the Blair Witch Project crew and oversee filming. He had spent about 4 weeks traveling around the United States. But Blair Witch Project was still not finished. The main reason was that Sofia Coppola was too opinionated. Originally, following her script, filming could have been completed in about 10 days. However, after 2 days of shooting, Sofia called, saying that following her script would result in a terrible film. The camera work was shaky, the composition was aesthetically unappealing, and the plot was very thin. It looked like a piece of junk. Sofia, unwilling to make a bad film, proposed revising the script. She wanted to add the character of Blair the Witch to the new script, portraying her as an unfortunate woman whose past misfortunes twisted her personality, leading her to seek revenge on others, especially men. Sofia also wanted to change the ending. The original ending saw Blair kill 3 college students, later finding her with a camera, which was then edited by the film company into a documentary-style film. Sofia's revised version had Blair kill 2 male supporting characters in a bizarre way, but ultimately defeated by the female lead, who injured her with a camera. Before dying, the witch suddenly regained consciousness and told the female lead about her ordeal. Blair was originally a photographer. She and her boyfriend came to Wilton to explore, but after a conflict, her boyfriend was killed by the locals, and Blair was raped and thrown into a bottomless cave, nearly dying. After waking up, Blair began a mad revenge. Upon hearing this, Link immediately called for a halt. The story sounded increasingly familiar, and upon closer inspection, the plot resembled one of the world's top 10 banned films, I Spit on Your Grave. Released in 1978, I Spit on Your Grave, written, directed, and self-financed by Mel Zage, tells the story of a female writer who is assaulted by 4 men while traveling and, upon waking, brutally murders them. A 2010 remake significantly reduced the gore and violence, changing its rating from banned to R-rated. Link rejected Sofia's proposal. He argued that following her modified methods would completely alter the film, and besides, the budget of $50,000 would exceed $1 million if she followed her suggestions. He demanded that Sofia stick to the original plan. If she refused, he would hand over the directing duties to assistant director Ed Myrick, explaining that the film was simple and anyone who knew how to use a camera could make it. Sofia reluctantly agreed. During later filming, Daniel DeVito reported that although Sofia followed the script, her demands for camera angles, actors' performances, and set design were extremely high, leading to a slowdown in filming. Link asked Daniel why he didn't stop her. Daniel claimed that filming according to Sofia's ideas would result in a higher quality film and guaranteed box office success. Link nearly fainted from anger. If he had known that handing the film over to someone else would cause so much trouble, he would have insisted on waiting until filming was finished before attending the book signings. Because of the slow progress of the Blair Witch Project, the production costs had far exceeded the budget, forcing him to suspend his overseas book signings and return to the set to clean up the mess. Link, look, isn't my way of filming better than your design? Sofia played the footage on the director's monitor, asking for his feedback. Link watched for a while, his forehead veins throbbing. Chapter 107, The Ultimate Flow Movie? Sofia's footage is beautiful, exquisite, and artistic. But this film is a documentary. Authenticity is paramount. Only authenticity can make the audience believe the story is real, and only by believing it's true can they empathize and feel the suspense. Sofia's shots are too neat and refined, like a meticulously dressed woman, beautiful but fake, contrived. There's no authenticity whatsoever. So? Stop staring blankly, say something. Sofia nudged his shoulder. What does this mean? Why are Renee and Matt looking at each other like that? Why do they look so ambiguous? Link pointed at the screen. They're a young couple. Isn't it normal for them to develop feelings for each other while traveling? Link's lips twitched. What does this mean? Why does Ben look so unhappy? My idea is that the female lead, Annie, likes the male lead, Mike, and the second male lead, Charlie, has a crush on Annie. Mike and Charlie are friends, and Mike doesn't want to see Charlie hurt, so he doesn't accept Annie's advances and pretends not to know she likes him. What nonsense. This is a horror movie, not a romance. Who gave you permission to insert a love triangle? What's the point of that, except to distract the audience? I had to do it. Your script storyline is too thin. The first few tens of minutes are just walking, chatting, or interviewing residents. It's too monotonous and lacks any drama. If you film it like that, no one will watch the movie, Sophia said without backing down. Link rubbed his forehead. Your idea is right. Adding other elements does increase the film's appeal, and many films are handled this way, but it's not suitable for this one. The film's design is very simple. 3 college students, driven by curiosity, come to Wilton to investigate the Blair Witch Project. It's a documentary, with 2 key words, authenticity and thriller. Everything else can be omitted. Acting can be omitted too, sure, as long as the 3 of them can make the plot more thrilling during filming. They can act however they want. Everything serves the thrill. All other details can be discarded. Are you making a Yakuza film? Yakuza? Well, you could say that. Link wasn't sure if Yakuza existed in the film industry, but Sophia's analogy was accurate. Sophia, there's one thing you need to understand. We're making an experimental film, not some classic art film or a blockbuster. So don't overcomplicate things during filming, and don't attach too much meaning, ideals, or goals to this movie. This budget can't support too much. Forcing too much will only ruin the film and make you break down too. Okay, whatever. My original plan was to be your assistant on set, but you wanted me to be the director. Since you think I can't do it, then you do it yourself, and I'll see what you come up with. It's not that I think your work is bad, but it's not suitable for this film. This film is aimed at teenagers and young adults in their 20s, with strong curiosity and a love for fast food, and middle-aged and elderly people who like supernatural stories but don't have high levels of appreciation. It's not aimed at highly educated, highly intelligent social elites. These people are mostly materialists. They don't believe in witch rumors, and even if it's well made, they won't give it a second glance. The different target audience also means that what we make can't be too profound. They can't understand anything too profound. It's like trying to teach ballet to a blind person. Can they understand that? Is this why My Dad's The Godfather didn't do as well at the box office as E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Jaws, or Home Alone? Sophia thought for a moment and asked. That's right, it's the same principle. Okay, let's shoot according to your script, but your movie has such a low bar. I don't think those people will be fooled into going to the theater. Who knows? Link shrugged and didn't say anything more. He took Sophia back to the set, found Renee Zellweger, Matt Damon, and told them that there were problems with the previous shots and they needed to be reshot. However, it wasn't a complete reshoot. There were some acceptable shots in Sophia's footage. These didn't need to be reshot. Shoot it again. Ben Affleck didn't object to Link's request, but he muttered to Matt Damon privately. I feel like this movie is going to be a disaster. Why? Matt Damon flipped through the script in his chair. The script Sophia had given him was obsolete. If they shot according to the original script, they would need to memorize the lines again. I've been in Hollywood for over a year, and I've never heard of a crew reshooting everything from start to finish after wrapping up. This is filmmaking, not a game where you can just try again if you fail the first time. With Link doing this, it's no wonder this movie is a flop. Well, you're just making a mountain out of a molehill, Renee Zellweger interjected. You've only been in Hollywood for 6 months. Have you seen many crews shoot a movie multiple times? Ben Affleck scoffed, unconvinced by Zellweger's behavior. Zellweger smiled slightly, twirling a strand of hair behind her ear, and glanced at Link busy in front of the camera. Guess how many takes Paranormal Activity have we had, huh? More than once, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck asked in surprise. Suddenly, they remembered that Zellweger was the second female lead in Paranormal Activity and knew a lot about the film's inside story. Of course, more than once. The first time, the male lead was Link. I heard that the version of Paranormal Activity shown in Asia used the first version. Renee Zellweger laughed. Link was the male lead in the first version, and Jeremy Northam was the male lead in the second version, so Paranormal Activity was filmed twice, Ben Affleck asked. No, based on my observation, it was filmed 3 times. This movie has 3 versions. 3 versions, a movie filmed 3 times. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were almost shouting in surprise. A movie filmed 3 times? Is Link making a movie or conducting an experiment? Whichever experimental result is best will be used, Ben complained. Link publicly stated before filming Paranormal Activity that it was an experimental film, used to practice and explore audience preferences. Since it's an experimental film, filming 2 or 3 times is normal, Renee Zellweger said. Is that how movies are filmed? Ben Affleck's eyes lit up, deeply moved. Chapter 108 reveals a key point. Ben Affleck dreamed of becoming a director and actively studied directing techniques. He believed that Hollywood films were made by shooting one take after another, combining all the shots, editing, and post-production to create a complete film. However, Renee Zellweger told him that Link didn't shoot like that. He treated filmmaking as an experiment. He would shoot one take from beginning to end, and if he wasn't satisfied, he would shoot a second, a third, and so on until he was. Based on his past knowledge of directing, this method seemed unworkable. Filmmaking is expensive, shooting 2 or 3 takes would double the budget, and the higher the cost, the higher the risk. No film company could afford such expenses, and no film company would allow its directors to waste money like that. Ben Affleck instinctively felt this was wrong. But the fact is, Link used this method to make films. His first film, Buried, was both critically acclaimed and commercially successful, grossing over 3,500 times its initial investment. The second installment, Paranormal Activity, achieved a box office return of 30,000 times, making it one of the 2 highest-grossing films in world film history. If Link's method didn't work, how could these 2 films have been such huge successes, even surpassing all the big-name directors in box office numbers? Does this mean Link's filmmaking method is the only orthodox approach? Are other directors' films failing because they've gone down the wrong path? Can anyone become a big director and billionaire just by making films like Link? Ha! Ben Affleck clapped his hands, excitedly dancing around. More than Matt Damon wanting to be a big star, he wanted to be a director. Just like Link said in an interview, the director is the coolest person on set, everyone else is just a tool. Being a director in Hollywood is much more exciting than being an actor. The reason he hadn't chosen to be a director before was due to lack of confidence. After hearing about Link's filmmaking methods, he seemed to see a bright path to success. As long as he learned Link's methods and repeatedly filmed a movie, he was sure to make a great film. Ben, what are you laughing at? Has the Blair Witch Project possessed you? Matt Damon slapped him on the shoulder and shook him. Haha, Matt, I know how to direct now. Maybe we can take back the script for Good Will Hunting and make it ourselves. Ben Affleck, barely containing his excitement, told Matt Damon his idea. He wanted to learn from Link, shooting a film multiple times and selecting the best version to release. That version would definitely make money. Matt Damon shook his head repeatedly. Ben, have you considered the production cost of Good Will Hunting? I've done the budget. It'll be at least $10 million. 1 take, $10 million, 2 takes, $20 million, 3 takes, $30 million. That's a $30 million investment, so it'll need at least $60 million to break even. Can the best version of Good Will Hunting even gross $60 million? Yes, definitely. Buried and Paranormal Activity both achieved box office returns of several thousand times. Our Good Will Hunting is pretty good too. I won't say 1,000 times return, but 100 times, no, 10 times should be enough, right, considering that 100 times the $10 million cost is $1 billion. Ben Affleck, being cautious, didn't dare think that far ahead. Don't overthink it. Even if you want to be a director, don't follow Link's example. Link's 3 movies had very low budgets, Buried for $20,000, Paranormal Activity for $20,000, and The Blair Witch Project for $100,000. You're trying to make a movie with a budget of tens of millions of dollars? Even if you're a billionaire, you won't be able to make enough to lose money. Ben, you can learn from Link. Write a few cheap scripts and start shooting. Maybe you can become a great director. Renee Zellweger brushed the leaves off her bottom and got up to walk towards the set. That sounds reasonable. Ben Affleck stroked his chin. Everyone, it's time to enter. Move your positions as arranged. On the town's highway, Link, wearing a baseball cap, carried a camera and aimed it at Renee Zellweger, Ben Affleck, and Matt Damon. This scene was filming the 3 of them arriving in Wilton, interviewing several residents, and then preparing to enter the forest where the legendary Blair Witch resides. Scene 7, Shot 1, Action. Filming of the second version of the Blair Witch Project began. Who wants the first shot of the opening ceremony? Ben Affleck asked off camera. The camera panned across Matt Damon and Renee Zellweger. Matt Damon was crouching on the ground adjusting his watch, while Renee Zellweger was crouching behind a car rearview mirror applying lipstick. Me, of course. Renee Zellweger walked over and stood behind the camera, becoming the one controlling it. The camera focused on Ben Affleck, who was holding a clapperboard, filling in information such as time, scene number, shot number, number of takes, director, and documentary title, preparing for filming the documentary. "Should we cut our fingers and let some blood on it?" Ben Affleck asked, putting away his pen. "No, we're going to keep this later," Renee Zellweger said, holding the handheld camera. "Give this thing a kiss." Ben Affleck kissed it, then handed the clapperboard to Renee, who kissed it back in the shaky shot. "This is our first scene, there's my lipstick mark on it," Renee Zellweger said. "Mike, come here, give me a kiss." Ben Affleck held the clapperboard to Matt Damon's lips, and Matt took a bite. "Don't eat it, we still have a use for it," Renee Zellweger said. Cut. Good, move on to the next take. This set was a black and white shot, filmed with a handheld camera. The camera was shaky and the image wasn't clear, but it looked realistic. "Wait, is this okay?" Sofia Coppola questioned, sitting behind the monitor and looking at the screen. "Yes. The three of them did a pretty good job. You call that good?" "Their performances lacked depth and emotional impact. And your camera work is so rough. Cutting in from all sorts of angles, sometimes a long shot, sometimes a medium shot, sometimes a close-up, and constantly shaking?" "This kind of quality shot actually passed?" Sofia asked. "Sure. This is a documentary, footage shot by the female lead, Annie. It's like a personal travelogue, so the quality won't be too high. In this scene, they just need to relax and treat the shoot like a real adventure. There aren't many other requirements, okay? I won't argue with you. I want to see what kind of monster you'll create by shooting like this," Sofia said. "Just wait and see, it'll be a great movie." Link smiled and gestured for the three to continue filming. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109. The movie is finished. I want to apologize to everyone. I was so naive. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything that happened, Renee Zellweger cried into the camera. "No matter what Mike says now, it's all my fault. It was my idea to come here, and my insistence on everything. I insisted we weren't lost, I insisted on going south. I messed everything up. We were cold, hungry, and injured. We were going to die here. I love you, Mom and Dad. I'm sorry." Cut. I declare the film wrapped. Link and the crew filmed in Illinois for 8 days, completing all the shots. Because the shooting schedule was tight, they had to shoot 6 or 7 sets of scenes every day, sometimes even until midnight. Everyone was exhausted by the end. Link was also exhausted. He first went to various book signings, and after returning, he didn't rest. Then he filmed the movie, trekking through mountains and rivers every day, exposed to wind and sun. If it weren't for his exceptional stamina, it would have been difficult to persevere. Besides him, the rest of the crew had been following him through the woods these past few days, working from dawn till dusk, and they were exhausted too. After he announced the film was finished, everyone cheered loudly. "Link, when will the editing be done?" Sofia Coppola, wearing a windbreaker, called out as she walked over from the roadside. "Next week, I'll try to get it edited by then," Link and Chris Bauer said, packing up their equipment. "Okay, remember to call me when you're done. I want to see the final cut. Don't put my name on it if it's too bad." "No, it'll be a good movie," Link laughed. "I don't know if the movie will be good or not, but you are definitely a good director. I've learned a lot from you." "Thank you." Sofia's voice suddenly softened. "Let's learn from each other. I'm self-taught, and my professional knowledge isn't enough. I've learned a lot from you these past few days, so we're even." Link laughed. Sofia glanced at him, then suddenly snorted. "You said you wanted to go on a date with me last time. Did you still mean it, last time?" "When?" "The day after you gave me Interstellar in the office. I called to praise your book, and you said I was great too, and agreed to go on a date with me. Have you forgotten?" "Oh, it was last month, right? I remember now. We've been together every day these past few days. Doesn't that count as a date?" Link joked. "How can that count? I'm always covered in dirt and sweat. How can we go on a date like that? I'm talking about a proper date, okay? After we finish editing the movie, I'll take you to eat Chinese food. You said it, don't forget. Sophia hugged him, got into the car, and drove away. Bang! Chris Bauer carried a large wooden crate into the car, wiping the sweat from his brow. Link, that girl Sophia is definitely in love with you. I often see her staring at your face. Don't talk nonsense. What's this? I don't remember having such a large item on set. Link patted the crate. These are props, the fruits of our props team's labor these past few days. Chris Bauer opened the box to show him. Inside were dozens of crosses, wooden puppets, strange symbols, and more than a dozen black stones, all made of rope, sticks, and branches. These were items the main characters encountered when they got lost in the forest, rumored witchcraft tools used by witches. In the film, they were mainly used to create a terrifying and eerie atmosphere. For realism, Link didn't use those elaborate props, but had the props team make some from what they had on hand. This resulted in these witchcraft tools being very rough and abstract. At first glance, they looked like a pile of rotten branches, and upon closer inspection, they were indeed rotten branches. What are you going to do with all this stuff? Start a fire, haha. Link, don't underestimate these branches, they're a treasure. Do you remember what props we used when filming Buried? What do you mean? Haha, after filming, I collected all those props, phone models, lighters, flashlights, glow sticks, knives, and so on. Later, Buried became a huge hit, and I heard that movie props could be sold. I tried selling them, and guess how much I made? So you're going to take these sticks back and sell them? That's right. When I first started, I thought being a prop master was boring, but now I find it incredibly interesting. Not only can I use my skills, but I can also earn some extra money. It's wonderful. Chris Bauer excitedly flexed his arm muscles. Then you need to take good care of them. This movie won't be released for several months. Don't let them all rot by the time it's released. Link shook his head, not interfering with Chris Bauer's actions. Some of the props and the crew were rented, some were bought, and some were made by the props department. Valuable props would be divided and sold after filming, and worthless ones would be thrown away. Chris Bauer keeping a bunch of useless wooden sticks to sell for money wasn't against the crew's rules. Link, don't change the subject. I just said that Sophia has fallen for you. You still have Monica and Jennifer. I advise you to learn from me and exercise more, otherwise so many girls will exhaust you, Chris Bauer said. Don't worry, I'm in good shape. Link looked at the equipment in the car, had Daniel DeViro and Chris Bauer check it, and then left after loading the car. Link, is there any room in this car? Renee Zellweger pulled over with her suitcase. Yes, sit in the back. Link took her things and put them in the trunk. Tisk, another one. Chris Bauer glanced at Renee's figure, secretly worried about Link's health. Is everything ready? Ready. Let's go. After returning to Los Angeles, Link rested at home for a few days before returning to the company's editing studio to edit the Blair Witch Project. The plot and structure of the film are very simple. College student Annie hears about the Blair Witch story in the newspaper, finds two companions, and drives to Illinois to find the Blair Witch. They eventually get lost in the forest and are killed one by the Blair Witch. A year later, people find the film they left behind, recording everything that happened before they disappeared. This film tells the story of their journey from departure to death, which was recorded by a camera. It can also be called the death journey of three college students. The original version was released in 1999, with a budget of $60,000, and grossed $248 million worldwide, pioneering the mockumentary style of horror film and inspiring many filmmakers to imitate it. Paranormal Activity was one of the followers. He's now making Paranormal Activity first, then the Blair Witch Project, reversing the order of the two films. Whether this film can achieve the same success as the original remains to be seen. Chapter 110 Surpassing the Original. Link spent 5 days editing the entire film. After watching it once, he felt it was pretty good, better than the original he had seen. There were 3 positive aspects. First, the plot and pacing were tighter, unlike the original which had many incredibly boring scenes that viewers wanted to skip. Second, Renee Zellweger, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck all gave better, more realistic, and more impactful performances. Third, Link and Sophia's filmmaking skills were superior. Their camera work, pacing, lighting, sound, prop design, and atmosphere creation were all more sophisticated, making the overall atmosphere more suspenseful and terrifying than the original. However, there were also drawbacks. The film felt heavily stylized, cutting large sections of tedious plot to make it more compact and dramatic. While this approach might enhance the viewing experience and horror in other films, it also somewhat weakened the realism of the found footage. This was influenced by Sofia. After he proposed the Yakuza-style filming method to her, she countered by asking him, if realism and suspense conflicted, which should take precedence? The ultimate goal of a hardcore film should be singular. After careful consideration, Link chose to prioritize thriller elements. The Blair Witch Project is a thriller, and thriller is its main selling point. Realism is a promotional tactic, serving the purpose of thriller, because people hear it's a true documentary, they'll be more curious and immersive while watching. The goal of immersing the audience is to make them feel thrilled. Having established a principle that realism should serve thriller, during filming, whenever realism and thriller conflicted, he would choose to sacrifice some realism to make the film more thrilling. Whether this approach was effective or not would only be determined after the film was completed and received system feedback. After editing, Link handed the film over to the production department for post-production, including adjusting sound channels, brightness, clarity, and the opening and closing credits. It was then digitally processed into a format suitable for theatrical release. The production department completed the production in 5 days. Link called Sofia, Daniel DeVito, John Gordon, and a few others to hold a small internal screening in the company's screening room. The film's runtime was 83 minutes. Like Paranormal Activity, The Blair Witch Project is also a thriller horror film. The difference is that in Paranormal Activity, the protagonist Katie tries to escape the evil spirit but cannot, while in The Blair Witch Project, the protagonist actively seeks out the witch. Paranormal Activity takes place in a small, confined villa, relying on sound and traces to create a sense of oppression. The Blair Witch Project is set in a larger area. Because the witch possesses witchcraft, those who enter the forest cannot leave, effectively creating a closed space. Furthermore, The Blair Witch Project was filmed in autumn and winter. The desolate, dark forest and cold weather contribute to the chilling and eerie atmosphere. The two films also share similarities. Both were shot with handheld cameras, creating a mockumentary style. The Blair Witch Project is relatively more realistic and believable. Both films have fewer actors, 2 in Paranormal Activity and 3 in The Blair Witch Project. Both main characters feature a very curious individual who is also the cause of the disaster, Micah in Paranormal Activity and Annie in The Blair Witch Project. Furthermore, the monsters in the movie are all made invisible, allowing the audience to hear their voices and see the terrifying scenes they create, but never actually see them. These kinds of movies rely heavily on the audience's imagination. Viewers skilled at imagining will find it very frightening, while those who aren't, or those unfamiliar with The Blair Witch Project, will find the movie boring. So, Link asked Sofia Coppola, Daniel DeVito, and the others for their opinions after the movie ended. "What do you think?" Sofia asked. "Perfect score, so confident." Sofia shook her head. "I'm not so positive about this movie. The last 20 minutes or so were somewhat thrilling, but the first few dozen minutes were relatively boring, and those shaky shots made me dizzy. This kind of movie is better suited for videotape. Not many people would go to the theater. Your standards are too high." I said this movie is for ordinary people, including those with low levels of education, those without higher education, and those who are superstitious and don't believe in science. The literacy rate in the US is only 69%, meaning 31% of the population is illiterate, nearly 100 million people. As long as we can fool them, attract them to the theater, this movie won't do too badly at the box office. In the film industry, some movies have high box office returns, and some have low, largely due to different target audiences. Commercial films have a broader target audience, appealing to everyone. Therefore, commercial films can't explain things too profoundly, the laughs and jokes can't be too obscure, and nudity can't be half-covered. The goal is to make it understandable and enjoyable for everyone. Arthouse films target intellectuals and niche audiences, allowing for more subtlety in their visual language, plot, and themes, offering room for contemplation. For example, commercial films often feature handsome men and beautiful women as leads, with clear selling points, excitement, sex appeal, and thrills. Arthouse films, however, require skilled actors to deliver profound and memorable performances. If a commercial film is too obscure or profound, the average viewer won't understand its appeal, feeling like they've paid for nothing. Such films are simply criticized as bad. Many directors feel aggrieved, arguing that the audience's level is too low. Conversely, arthouse films, if too straightforward or with poor acting, will also be criticized by discerning viewers. Films like Paranormal Activity and The Blair Witch Project target a less discerning audience. Their selling point is horror and suspense, lacking profound or obscure themes. Being scared is the main reward. Other than that, expectations are low. Sophia's finding the first half uninteresting suggests she wasn't the target audience for this film. So, to attract a general audience, you deliberately made the film like this? In other words, you're capable of making it better, Sophia asked. No. Do you know the difference between me and most directors in the industry? I'm not an academic. My professional knowledge and cultural level are lower than theirs. If you ask me to make something too profound, I'm unlikely to succeed. I don't believe it. I've been in Hollywood for over 10 years and worked with many directors. Your ability to direct actors and use the camera is among the top 5 of the directors I know. And there's someone who wrote Paranormal Activity, The Blair Witch Project, and Interstellar. You're telling me you're not good enough? Sophia pointed at him and wagged her index finger. Link laughed. Screenwriting and directing are different. With my current abilities, I'm quite confident in making films of this level. Anything higher would be a bit of a stretch, which is why I've told you many times that I still need more practice. Once you've mastered it and gained confidence, will you be able to make high-level films? Of course. My goal is the Oscar for Best Director and a Grand Slam of Directing Awards at the 3 major European film festivals. Without making some high-level works, winning those awards won't be easy. Haha, you've got big ambitions. Good luck, I believe in you, Sophia nudged him with her shoulder, slightly mischievous. Chapter 111 Box Office Subsidies and New Rewards. Daniel, what's your opinion? The movie ended, the lights came on, and Link looked at producer Daniel DeVito. Daniel adjusted his glasses, his expression conflicted. He was a veteran producer with over 10 years of experience, having worked on films like The War of the Roses, J. Edgar, and Two Brothers. He considered himself a highly experienced and skilled producer. In his opinion, both Paranormal Activity and The Blair Witch Project were utter garbage. The Blair Witch Project wasn't even as good as Paranormal Activity. Watching Paranormal Activity would leave you trembling with fear, your eyes glued to the screen, while The Blair Witch Project, though somewhat thrilling, was far less effective. Would this movie be a good one? He wanted to say it wasn't good, that nobody would watch it after its release. But Paranormal Activity, which he had previously dismissed as mediocre, became the highest-grossing film of 1992. He wasn't going to say much about The Blair Witch Project until the box office results were in. Not bad, very interesting. We could try releasing it, maybe it'll do well at the box office, Daniel DeVito thought to himself. If this movie was a box office success, he'd go back to school for a refresher course, to re-understand the current film market, and to re-understand the audience and their preferences. Otherwise, he'd drift further and further away from the market and the audience, becoming a third-rate producer. John, Link looked at John Gordon, the head of the distribution department. Boss, I have no objections. As long as it's your movie, no matter its quality, our distribution department will do its best to release it, striving to attract more viewers and earn more box office revenue, John Gordon said, shrugging. Okay, how's the arrangement for collaborating with World News Weekly on the Blair Witch Project? It's already started. John Gordon told him that since the beginning of the month, World News Weekly had published Blair Witch-related news on its front page for 3 consecutive weeks, causing some reaction in the United States. In the next 2 months, World News Weekly would continue to publish related news, trying to generate buzz around the Blair Witch Project. You're going to hype up paranormal events again? Wait, I remember you said in that interview that your next movie wouldn't be publicly hyped, to prove your abilities, Sophia said. Yes, I haven't forgotten. I also said I wouldn't put my name on this movie. Putting my name on it would ruin the authenticity of the documentary, so this movie isn't really my work. You're so cunning. It's also for the sake of the movie. Link smiled and continued to discuss the publicity with John Gordon. Simply collaborating with World News Weekly wasn't enough. Compared to Paranormal Activity, the Blair Witch Project was inferior. The original's success was 90% due to hype and 10% because the film was genuinely interesting. Therefore, for the Blair Witch Project to be a hit, a major publicity effort was needed. He offered 3 publicity suggestions. First, continue to hire the extras from the Blair Witch Project, have them live in the town, cooperate with media interviews, and make everyone think they are locals, which would also enhance the authenticity of the documentary film. Secondly, publish missing persons news and missing person notices in more media outlets to let as many people as possible know that the real-life inspirations for Renee, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck are missing. Thirdly, arrange for someone to investigate the Blair Witch Project in Illinois, creating some sensational news. For example, tourists going missing, children going missing, discovering traces of the Blair Witch Project, hiring bounty hunters to capture the Blair Witch Project, locals denying the existence of witches, someone claiming to be the Blair Witch Project or her daughter, women publicly opposing the capture and persecution of witches, suggesting the government legislate to protect witches' human rights, opposing the persecution of witches, proposing that witches run for president, etc., turning the witch into a real, controversial celebrity. Sophia listened to his publicity plan, dumbfounded. Movie publicity could be done like this? If Link did it this way, even a fool would be turned into a big star. We need to hype up the Blair Witch Project like we did with Aliens and Batman Boys. We need to make as many people as possible aware of the Blair Witch's existence, that she's a dangerous, mysterious, and real person. Your PR department should develop a publicity plan and figure out how much it will cost to achieve this. Like with Paranormal Activity, I don't care about the cost, I want the effect, Link said slowly. No problem, boss. When is the movie scheduled for release? If there's enough time, the publicity will be even better. Paranormal Activity hasn't finished its run yet, and there won't be any new movies released for the next 2 months. You have plenty of time to prepare, okay? John Gordon jotted down his words. Link, is this a good way to hype it up? Aren't you afraid of being criticized? Sophia asked. What's there to be afraid of? This is Hollywood. Some people make money on their knees, some on their backs, some on their stomachs, some through exploitation. I just get criticized a few times and I still make money. It couldn't be easier, Link shrugged. You're a really incredible guy, aren't you disappointed to see this side of me? Of course not. I think you're very strong and intelligent, even more capable than my dad. He only knows how to make movies, he doesn't understand publicity or hype at all. His movies are clearly very good, but they flop at the box office. If he were as capable as you, he wouldn't need to make movies he didn't want to make to pay off his debts. I'm increasingly convinced that my decision to learn from you was the right one. I not only want to learn how to make movies from you, but there are many other things I need to learn from you. Sophia linked her arm with his and said enthusiastically. I'm not that great, don't overthink it, Link laughed heartily. Film production complete, box office subsidies are being tallied, host participation rate. 56.3%, film completion rate. 87.8%, publicity effect. 12%, film's market fit. 67%, rewards. 1.2x box office subsidy, director experience plus 10%, director stamina plus 5%, film quality increase plus 10%, 1.2x box office subsidy? The system's review is stricter now. Making money from box office won't be so easy anymore. What's this film quality increase? Could it be that the system rewards not only enhance stamina but also improve film quality? Link was curious about the system's changes. After treating Sophia to a meal, Link returned to the company's screening room, took out the film master tape, and watched it again to see what the 10% film quality increase would mean. Chapter 112. The film quality has improved again. Link watched the upgraded version of the Blair Witch Project 3 times in a row. He noticed some very subtle changes in the film, including camera work, acting, dialogue, lighting, and sound effects. There were subtle changes in all of them. If he hadn't watched it dozens of times while editing, becoming very familiar with every element of the film, he almost wouldn't have noticed them. From his aesthetic perspective, the new version of the Blair Witch Project is undoubtedly of higher quality. Whether it's the acting, the camera work, the sound, brightness, or visuals, there are subtle changes. His previous edit, while relatively complete, still felt rough and lacked refinement compared to the new version. To use a simple analogy, the first version was like a newly carved jade pendant, while the second version was like something that had been polished many times, becoming crystal clear and having a warm luster, looking much more high-end. He also noticed that the film completion rate in the system rating increased from 87.8% to 92.4%, an improvement of nearly 5 percentage points. The other options remained unchanged. Link remembered that after the system update, box office subsidies were based on factors such as individual participation, film completion, awards won, marketing investment, and market fit. The higher the index, the more subsidies were awarded. Now, only individual participation, film completion, and market fit are considered. How are the remaining factors calculated? Will the box office subsidies change again if the film wins awards after its release? These things still need to be explored. After watching the movie, Link returned to his office and called Vice President Michael Leeson to inquire about the industry acquisitions. After the huge success of Paranormal Activity, Guessing Pictures planned to invest $20 million and use subsequent box office revenue as collateral to borrow $50 million from Morgan Bank to acquire several film and television production companies, film distribution companies, and video production and distribution companies. There were two reasons for acquiring these companies. The first was that he planned to use the acquired film companies to distribute The Blair Witch Project. If Guessing Pictures continued to distribute the film, it would be easy for people to spot the problem during the publicity. Using shell companies for distribution would reduce the problem. The second step is to strengthen Guess Movies' production and distribution capabilities, increase the company's asset value, and become a film company that can independently produce large-scale film projects without relying on the 7 major studios. The target is MGM, one of the 7 studios. MGM is also the only independent production company among the 7 studios without a complete production, promotion, and distribution channel, which is why MGM was the first to go bankrupt and be acquired. After Guess Movies is integrated, Link will begin fundraising to increase the company's market value. At the same time, the funds raised will be used to acquire media outlets to further improve film promotion and distribution channels. The goal of this step is to become a new giant in the Hollywood film industry. Boss, after the last work meeting, I led a team to investigate the current asset situation of independent film companies in Hollywood. We've identified 124 relevant companies and found 12 suitable targets. Here's the information, take a look. Michael Leeson pushed over a stack of documents. Link flipped through the list. At the top was Castle Stone Pictures. Founded in 1987, the company had produced 12 films to date, including When Harry Met Sally, Lord of the Flies, Misery, and No Regrets. Castle Stone Pictures had decent production capabilities, often ranking among the top 10 in independent film production, but its distribution capabilities were weak, relying primarily on New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers, and Columbia Pictures for distribution. Because Castle Stone lacked distribution power, it also lacked film copyrights, which are the most valuable asset for a film company. According to Wall Street investment firms, Castle Stone Pictures currently has a market capitalization of approximately $38.5 million, with assets mainly including a film studio, revenue sharing from several films, video rights, script rights, and agency contracts for directors, actors, and producers. Rob Reiner, the director of No Regrets, was also one of the founders of Castle Stone Pictures and had repeatedly criticized Link and Paranormal Activity in the media. Second on the list is Good Mechanics, a well-known Hollywood film company founded in 1990. It's a film production company that has produced and distributed 5 films to date, including Ang Lee's directorial debut, Pushing Hands. Founder James Shamus has been involved in the production of almost all of Lee's films. Good Mechanics is also the predecessor to Focus Features. The current asking price is $12 million. Third on the list is Artisan Entertainment, founded in 1982. It's a long-established independent film production company with a small studio, having produced 23 low-budget films with little recognition. It later gained fame for distributing the Dark Horse film The Blair Witch Project. Artisan Entertainment is not only a production company but also has some distribution capabilities, owning the rights to several B-movies. Its asking price is slightly higher than Good Mechanics, at $18 million. Below are profiles of 6 other film companies. Hemdale Pictures, the studio behind the first Terminator film, has seen its fortunes decline in recent years since James Cameron's departure, resulting in lower asking prices. New World Pictures, founded in 1970, is a film and television production and distribution company primarily known for horror films, including The Scream and the Whisper, Autumn Sonata, The Pajama Party Massacre, and Corn Sonata. Trimark Pictures, founded in 1984, also offered less than $40 million, making them insignificant compared to the 7 major studios with market capitalizations in the billions. Besides film production companies, Link focused on film distribution companies and video production and distribution companies. He selected 2, Trimark Holdings Incorporated, a film and television distribution company founded in the mid-1960s, owns the rights to 350 film and television works and has a complete video sales and production business, with an asking price of $38 million. The company's founder, Joe Ferrer, is the future chairman of Lionsgate, although Lionsgate has not yet been established. The second company is Triumph Releasing Corporation, also a film distribution company with a complete film and video production and sales business. Founded in the 1970s, Triumph Releasing Corporation owns the rights to 130 films, including Black Angel and Peak of Courage. While its film rights portfolio isn't as large as Triumph Entertainment's, its film rights are relatively more valuable, with an asking price of $40 million. All of these film production and distribution companies are suitable options. The choice depends mainly on the price and the willingness of both parties to cooperate. Chapter 113 Industrial Acquisition Plan. Michael, regarding the production company, start by talking to Good Machine Pictures and Artisan Entertainment. As for the film distribution company, these 2 are good, we can continue to negotiate. Link drew some notes on the document, wrote down a few suggestions, and handed it to Michael Leeson. Michael Leeson took it and looked at it. Boss, our company's film production capabilities are currently quite good, but our film distribution capabilities need strengthening. When making acquisitions, should we acquire distribution companies first, taking it one step at a time? Acquiring too many at once will put a heavy burden on the company. Link shook his head. The company has only invested in and produced 2 films so far, Paranormal Activity and The Blair Witch Project. These are small-scale productions, barely enough for the company's current situation. However, next year we will be investing in and producing multiple films simultaneously, including Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Final Destination, and Pulp Fiction. The production department alone cannot handle the workload. Acquiring other film companies is a shortcut to improving the company's film production capabilities. As for film distribution, we can proceed more slowly. Guess what? Our company currently only has 1 film awaiting release. The others will be released in the second half of next year. We can take our time, boss. I understand. After Michael Leeson left, Link continued reviewing the remaining documents. These included film production companies, distribution companies, special effects companies, and animation studios. Among these companies, Link identified 2 highly promising targets, Marvel Entertainment and Pixar Animation Studios. Marvel Comics, founded in 1939, has become one of the 2 giants of American comics alongside DC Comics, boasting numerous famous characters such as Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Wolverine, and Hulk. However, due to mismanagement, Marvel Entertainment sold off several famous comic book characters, including the Fantastic Four, Wolverine, and Spider-Man, over the past decade to address its financial problems. In 1988, New World Film acquired Marvel for $46 million, and in 1989, investor Ronald Perlman bought it back from New World Film for $82.5 million. Despite these ups and downs, Marvel Entertainment has failed to resolve its difficulties. Currently, Ronald Perlman is trying to boost comic book sales by selling collectible cards, similar to giving away cards with instant noodles. The more you eat, the more cards you get. However, with the rapid development of the film and television industry in the 1990s, the audience for movies, television, and comics has grown significantly, making it almost impossible for Marvel to revive itself through card sales. It remains on the verge of bankruptcy, with a market capitalization of approximately $80 million, and still has room to decline. The second company is Pixar Animation Studios, founded and chaired by Apple founder Steve Jobs. In 1986, Steve Jobs left Apple and bought Lucasfilm's computer animation division from director George Lucas for $10 million. After years of development, Pixar's computer animation has matured and now mainly produces commercials for businesses, as well as animated logos for film studios' opening sequences. Guess what? Pixar Animation designed the opening sequence for the movie studio. Pixar Animation Studios has produced 5 computer animated short films since 1990, including The Tin Soldier and The Snowman's Big Adventure. At the beginning of the year, It won an Academy Award for Scientific and Engineering Achievement for its computer-aided animation system, CAPS. Although Pixar is at the top of the computer animation industry, it has not yet achieved profitability, and its future is uncertain. Its current market capitalization is approximately $30 million. Both of these companies are very promising targets. Successfully acquiring either of them, or obtaining a majority stake, would be a huge boost to Guess Pictures. It would be good to have a chat with the heads of both companies if possible. Knock knock knock. Boss, it's time to go home. Liu Xiaoli stood at the door and knocked with her finger. Link glanced at his watch. It wasn't even 4 in the afternoon. You forgot, Chen Chong and Wu Junmei invited you to dinner, and you agreed. I forgot, but I remembered now. He had paid for the dinner with Chen Chong and the others a while ago, and now they wanted to reciprocate. Link put down his documents, changed into a casual jacket, and glanced back at Liu Xiaoli. She was dressed in a gray business suit, her hair neatly tied in a ponytail, flesh-colored stockings paired with black high heels. She was becoming increasingly stylish and alluring. Do you want to change? Why would I change? They invited you to dinner, not me. Then I won't go. I'm not familiar with them, and it'll be awkward without you talking. Why don't you cancel for me? What nonsense. They're all already at the restaurant. It wouldn't be right for you not to go now. Liu Xiaoli used a lint roller to brush his clothes. You were the one who said the nonsense first, not me. Can't I joke? You have absolutely no sense of humor. Liu Xiaoli rolled her eyes at him, her hands gentle, but her words sharp. Yes, you have a sense of humor, and you're sexy too. Wow, so big. Link deliberately peeked into her slightly open shirt collar, seeing the gemstone necklace, her delicate collarbone, and the full, white curves of her breasts. You pervert, what are you looking at? Liu Xiaoli quickly clutched her chest, brandishing her lint brush as if to hit him. It looks like a bug fell into your clothes. Do you want me to get it out for you? Go away. If you dare touch it, I'll chop it up. You're a big boss. What haven't you seen? Can't you be serious for once? With you, I can't be serious. Link chuckled softly, humming a song, and went out first. Liu Xiaoli glared at him, then glanced down at her collar where he had peeked. Her bra revealed some black lace, making her surrounding skin appear even whiter and more delicate, like tofu. She couldn't help but blush. Downstairs, Link got into his car and called Monica, saying he was having dinner with some Chinese actors and would be back late, asking her to eat early. Monica told him to be careful, not to drive after drinking, and that he could call her beforehand and she would come pick him up. Link said he understood. After hanging up, he called Jennifer Connolly, chatted for a while, and arranged to spend the weekend at her place. Call the nanny and ask if Kyankian has eaten. If not, let's go together. It'll be more lively with more people, and the little one likes company, Lin Kay said to Liu Xiaoli in the passenger seat. They're all adults. Isn't it inappropriate for a little girl like her to be there? Adults are great, we can get more red envelopes, Lin Kay joked. Liu Xiaoli glanced at him, took out her cell phone, and called the nanny to ask if Kyankian had finished her lessons. The nanny, Aunt Zhang, said she had. Kyankian was practicing piano. Liu Xiaoli asked Aunt Zhang to help Kyankian change her clothes and pick her up for dinner in 10 minutes. Chapter 114 Little Kyankian is here. Hollywood Boulevard, Rex's apartment building. Link parked his car at the exit, his arm resting on the window, observing the passers-by. There were black and white people, beautiful and ugly, happy and depressed. If he had the time and interest, he could learn about them, analyze their lives. Each person's experience could be made into a decent movie. But then Link shook his head. These people were too ordinary. Even if their stories were put on the big screen, how many viewers would actually watch? A dozen minutes later, Liu Xiaoli emerged from the apartment, dressed in a plain, fitted dress. Her long, black hair was loose, and her face, though without makeup, was still beautiful and charming. Behind her followed a little girl, about 4 or 5 years old, wearing a pink jacket and a blue skirt, with a cute, chubby face and a puffy hairstyle. Hello, Uncle Lin, the little girl greeted sweetly as she reached the car. Hello, Kyankian. Kyankian, what classes did you have today? English class, and painting class, and piano class. Do you like classes? No, I like them so much. The little girl glanced at Liu Xiaoli with her big eyes, then quickly changed her answer, so sensible it was heartbreaking. How's your English? Can you have a conversation? Link asked in English. Sure. I know 100 conversational phrases. Liu Kaianqian rattled off a few English sentences. She learns English very quickly, even faster than me. Liu Xiaoli patted the little girl's head and laughed. Kaianqian looks smart, just like me. What does Kaianqian's intelligence have to do with you, you shameless jerk? Liu Xiaoli punched his shoulder. Link smiled and drove to Chinatown, a Chinese restaurant on Sunset Boulevard. Sunset Boulevard is less than 2 kilometers from Chinatown, and the Chinese restaurants there offer more authentic flavors. The restaurant's interior was also decorated in a Chinese style, with an antique courtyard design. On the shelf behind the entrance screen were many pumpkin-sized wine jars, each with a red paper pasted on the front, bearing the character wine. The restaurant was bustling and lively, with almost all the dining areas packed and people coming and going in the aisles, both Chinese and foreigners. The air was filled with the unique aromas of a Chinese restaurant. The fragrance of wine mingled with the aroma of meat, and the spiciness and sourness of seasonings. My stomach, which hadn't been very hungry before, was now rumbling. Upstairs on the second floor, there were several elegant private rooms facing the street. The floor was cleaner than on the first floor, and there was less noise. Link and Liu Xiaoli led Liu Kaianqian to the door of one of the private rooms. Link, Xiaoli, you're here, Director Lin, it's a pleasure to meet you. Oh, Kaianqian's here too. Haha, you three look like an enviable family. Upon seeing them, Chen Chong, Wu Junmei, and others greeted them warmly. Acquaintances called him Link, while those who weren't familiar called him Director Lin or Mr. Lin. Everyone was so welcoming, making him feel the essence of Chinese food culture, the atmosphere and the sense of ritual. Sister Chong, don't talk nonsense. What family of three? Liu Xiaoli said reproachfully. You two walk on either side, with Xiaoxi in the middle. You'll look like a family, Chen Chong joked, pulling Liu Xiaoli and Lin K along. The others chimed in, making Liu Xiaoli blush bright red, even more shy than a newlywed bride. Lin K smiled and shook hands with Chen Chong, Wu Junmei, and John Lone. He'd met the three of them at a previous dinner gathering. They were acquaintances. These three had played Pu Ai, Empress Wanrong, and consort Wang Xiu in the 1987 film The Last Emperor. The film won 9 Academy Awards in 1988, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay, making it the most awarded film after Ben-Hur and West Side Story. The success of The Last Emperor propelled the three to fame in Hollywood, making them three of the most renowned Chinese actors in the city. However, Hollywood is dominated by Western actors, whether leading or supporting roles. The cast is predominantly white and black, making it difficult for Asian actors to gain a foothold. Of the three, only John Lone occasionally gets supporting roles in Hollywood movies. Joan Chen and Vivian Wu can't even get supporting roles. There were two new faces at the table today, Chinese-American director Wayne Wang and his wife, Miao Qianrun. Director Wang was originally from Hong Kong and came to the US in the 1960s. He directed several films, including Dim Sum, The Dancing Girl, and A Bowl of Tea, gaining some fame in Hollywood, but not much. His more famous later works include Snowflower and The Secret Fan in Chinese Box. His wife is more famous. She was originally a Miss Hong Kong, a Hong Kong movie star, and Chow Yun-fat's ex-girlfriend. She married director Wang in 1989 and is now also working in Hollywood. After the introductions, everyone sat down to order and eat. Link found a bowl for Liu Kaianqian, and after everyone started eating, Link filled her small bowl first. Xiaoli, look how caring Link is. Whoever marries him will be very happy, Joan Chen said, pointing to Link. Link seems like a good man, capable and talented, with a great personality. You couldn't find a man like him among tens of thousands of people, Wu Junmei said with a smile. He's not that good. Sometimes, Liu Xiaoli noticed everyone's gaze, suddenly realized, and brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. He's also quite difficult to please. Being his assistant is very stressful every day. Chen Chong wasn't going to let her brush it off, and pulled Liu Xiaoli aside to tease her. So you're protecting him now. Xiaoli, tell me honestly, besides being boss and subordinate, is there any other relationship between you two? Sister Chong, don't talk nonsense. He and I are just colleagues, nothing else. Liu Xiaoli's cheeks flushed. I didn't say there was any messy relationship, I said we're friends. Is that all? Sister Chong, I'm not talking to you anymore. Liu Xiaoli's face turned even redder, and she looked at Link. Don't feed her so much, she's been less active in class lately and has gained several pounds. It's good to be a little chubby, she's cute. Link stopped feeding the little one, picked up his wine glass and sipped a few drinks with everyone, chatting about movies. Of the people present, he was the only one with a movie release this year. The others were either preparing movie projects or looking for movie roles, so there wasn't much to talk about. Although everyone was of Chinese descent and worked in Hollywood, their social circles and levels in the industry were different, so they didn't have much in common. Fortunately, there were a few very sociable women at the table, so the conversation didn't get awkward. Link. The news says that Paranormal Activity has now surpassed the $600 million mark at the global box office, becoming the first movie in nearly 5 years to reach $600 million at the global box office. That's amazing, Wu Junmei said with a smile. Yes, especially since you're a Chinese director. A Chinese director making world box office history has been reported by many official media outlets in China. Chen Chong looked at him with fervent eyes. It's nothing much, just good luck. Before making Paranormal Activity, I never imagined it would grow so much. Link would appropriately show humility when chatting with fellow Chinese. You're incredibly lucky. I wish you continued success and that every film you make will be a box office hit. Wu Junmei raised her glass to him. Link clinked glasses with her. Link, don't drink too much, you have to drive later, Liu Xiaoli said. Okay, Link drank about half a glass. Chen Chong glanced at Link, then at Liu Xiaoli, and whispered something in Liu Xiaoli's ear, making her blush. Chapter 115 Chinese Actors. Miao Qianren chimed in, Director Lin, I heard from friends in Hong Kong that Paranormal Activity grossed $32.12 million in 2 months in Hong Kong. A film made for $20,000 can still earn over $30 million in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong media were shocked and said it was unbelievable. I heard that many directors in Hong Kong are studying your two films, and some film companies are preparing to follow suit and make similar films, hoping to make as much money as you. Wu Junmei laughed and said, it's not just Hong Kong film companies. Many Hollywood film companies are also starting to pay attention to low-budget horror films, preparing to learn from Link's documentary-style approach. However, I think it will be difficult for those films to achieve the same box office success as Paranormal Activity. They are not as good as Link. I'm not that good either. I'm mainly lucky, and secondly, I did a lot of publicity. When it comes to filmmaking here, Director Wang is the senior expert. I've seen his dim sum and eat a bowl of tea. They have both Chinese cultural connotations and Hollywood film style. They are of a very high level. Link changed the subject and looked at the veteran director Wang Ying across from him. Director Wayne Wang, 43 years old this year, started directing in his 20s and is indeed a veteran in the industry. Before Ang Lee became famous, he was the most well-known Chinese director in Hollywood. His 1985 film Dim Sum, starring Cora Miao and Joan Chen, and his 1989 film Eat a Bowl of Tea are both quite distinctive. Although their box office performance was not outstanding, their foundations were solid. Director Lin, you flatter me. I grew up on Hong Kong Island, and after coming to the United States, the people around me were all Chinese. I talked and watched about Chinese culture every day, which led to my films being unable to break away from the Chinese cultural background. Director Lin, your films are pure Hollywood films. Not only that, but you also innovate on the basis of Hollywood films, standing ahead of all Hollywood directors and becoming a pioneering director. This is very admirable and something I should learn from. Director Wayne Wang praised him sincerely. Haha, I don't deserve it. Link clinked glasses with Director Wayne Wang. Link, you seemed very flamboyant during the TV interview, but you are so humble in private, Joan Chen said with a smile. A lot of people criticized me in the media recently. If I didn't fight back, they would have taken advantage of me as an honest person. Zhang Yang was forced into this situation. Link, you're in a better position. You made 2 blockbuster movies right after your debut, which made everyone take you seriously. But for us small actors, once the hype dies down, we have no value in Hollywood film companies. Not to mention being criticized by many filmmakers, probably not many people even remember us now, Chen Chong said. Wu Junmei sighed. This is the difficulty we Chinese Americans face in surviving in Hollywood. Japanese actors have Columbia Pictures backing them, Australian actors have Murdoch and 20th Century Fox, Italian actors have Italian directors' support, and even Mexican actors have immigrant support in Hollywood. But we Chinese Americans have no roots or background in Hollywood, making it extremely difficult to get ahead. Link. It's truly remarkable that you've become a top director in Hollywood and own a film company. Link's journey to this point hasn't been easy either, Liu Xiaoli added. Since his debut, the hostility from people in the film industry has never ceased. From Barrett to Paranormal Activity, many top Hollywood stars and directors have publicly criticized him and disparaged his two films. The reason these people criticized Link was because film companies and agencies were behind it. They wanted to take the opportunity to suppress Link in our Guess What films. If Link hadn't been cautious and his films hadn't performed so well at the box office, they wouldn't have had the chance to do so. If Paranormal Activity does even slightly poorly at the box office, and Guess What film studio runs into financial difficulties, those people could easily bankrupt it, leaving Link with no films to make. Chen Chong, Wu Junmei, and Miao Qianren echoed, saying that Link was having a tough time. A waiter brought out a steaming hot dish. Director Wang Ying, an expert in food and drink, pointed to the dish and introduced it to everyone, recounting everything from its preparation to the cultural allusions behind it. Listening to director Wang's explanation, even an ordinary Chinese dish became rich and colorful, and the taste seemed different from before, even more delicious. After a round of toasts, Chen Chong brought up the film again, asking Link when his next film would start shooting. Link said it was in preparation, probably early next year. Chen Chong and Wu Junmei exchanged a glance and asked him if there were any suitable roles for people of Chinese descent in the script. Link shook his head. Final Destination had 7 main actors, adding 1 or 2 people of Chinese descent would be fine, but it definitely wouldn't be suitable for Chen Chong and the others, they were too old. My next film is a campus thriller, with high school students as the main characters. If there are any 18 or 19-year-old Chinese actors, we could consider them, Link explained. With a box office subsidy system in place, his films are almost guaranteed to be profitable. In this situation, it would also be good to give Chinese actors some credit, improve their status in the entertainment industry, and enhance the international image of Chinese people. In the long run, it's a meaningful thing. When Chen Chong heard that Link's next film was a high school campus movie, a look of disappointment inevitably appeared on her face. Director Link, I wish your next film great success, Miao Qianren said with a smile, holding up his juice glass, knowing he was about to drive. Thank you, Director Link. Now that Guess What Films has become a major company in the independent film field, do you have any plans to invest in other films? Miao Qianren asked with a smile. Yes, next year, in addition to my film, there are 3 other film projects that Guess What Films will participate in the investment and production of. Link, you're investing in 4 films a year, aren't you afraid of losing money? Hearing that Guess What Films was going to invest in 4 films next year, Chen Chong and Wu Junmei perked up again. Don't worry, the budgets for several films aren't high, under 30 million. Guess What Film Studio can handle it, 30 million. Is that too little? Link, you're getting more and more impressive. With your net worth, you could be the richest man in China. Chen Chong's gaze towards him became even more fervent. Not even close, compared to the billionaires in Hong Kong, his $200 or $300 million was nothing. Director Lin, is Guess What Film Studio is interested in investing in other films? I have a film project that lacks investment, and I hope to have the opportunity to talk to you about it, Director Wang Ying said. Director Wang, is it your new film? Yes, a film with a female theme, focusing on 4 pairs of Chinese American mothers and daughters, depicting the experiences of their families over the past century. Miao Qianren took out a script from her bag. Link took it and looked at it. The title was The Joy Luck Club. As Director Wang Ying said, it tells the story of 4 pairs of Chinese American mothers and daughters over the past century, contrasting the experiences of Chinese women from their grandmothers who suffered hardships and humiliation to a new generation of women with independent personalities and economic status. Lin Kei had seen the movie. The cast, including Yu Fihong, was quite good. It's said that Ang Lee's films Pushing Hands and Eat Drink Man Woman were also influenced by this movie. Lin Kei schemed through the script. The plot was similar to what he remembered. He thought it was worth investing in. However, he didn't make a decision on the spot. He invited director Wang Ying to visit Guess Film Studio sometime to discuss the script. Director Wang Ying readily agreed. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116, Taking a Little Tofu. After the dinner, everyone waved goodbye in the parking lot. The noisy group scattered like birds in the blink of an eye. Zunlong's personality is quite strange. He barely said 10 words in the 2 meals we had, Link said as he started the car. He seems rather introverted and doesn't like socializing. Chen Chong probably dragged him out to keep him company again, Liu Xiaoli laughed. I heard he likes Chen Chong, it seems so. Chen Chong knows that, which is why she brought him to the dinner. But Chen Chong is very strong-willed and likes assertive men. Zunlong is too soft-hearted, like a big girl. Chen Chong could never like him, it's a pity. What a waste of Zunlong's face. The most important thing for a man is ability. Being capable is more important than being handsome, Liu Xiaoli laughed. That's why I keep working hard. I don't just want to be handsome, I want to be a capable handsome man. Who said that about you? You're shameless, Liu Xiaoli scoffed. Mommy, my tummy is so bloated, Liu Qianqian rubbed her belly and groaned. Who told you to eat so much? Walk around a bit more when you get back, digest your food before you go to sleep. Liu Xiaoli used a tissue to wipe the oil off her face. Uncle Lin made me eat. Even when I stopped, Uncle Lin kept piling food on my plate, and then I got stuffed. Haha, what a heartless little girl. I saw you eating non-stop and thought you liked those dishes, so I kept piling food on your plate. Now you're full and you're blaming me, Lin K laughed. Even if I liked them, I couldn't eat 3 bowls. Uncle Lin, you added 4 bowls for me, and I didn't finish them all. There was so much good food left over, it's such a waste, Liu Qianqian kept chattering. You silly girl, you said you were full when you couldn't eat any more. Who told you to keep eating? I think you're just a glutton, Liu Xiaoli poked her forehead. No, I'm not a glutton, Liu Qianqian crossed her arms and argued stubbornly. Your mother is a glutton, and you were born from your mother, so you're a glutton too, Lin K laughed. Is that so? The little girl blinked her big eyes at Liu Xiaoli. Don't listen to his nonsense, he's the one who's greedy, Liu Xiaoli rolled her eyes at Link. Just now at the dinner table, Chen Chong and the others were talking about how difficult it is for Chinese actors. What did you think about that? I didn't think much about it. Just say what you want to say. There's nothing we can't talk about as family, Link laughed. Having been taken advantage of by him a few times, Liu Xiaoli had gotten used to it and now wouldn't even roll her eyes at his nonsense. They invited you to dinner and mentioned how tough it is for Chinese actors in Hollywood. They wanted your help to get them some roles in future movies. I understand, they're in a foreign country, you understand, but don't actually change the script just to help them. It's not easy for us to make a living in this industry, sometimes a small oversight can lead to a film's investment being lost. Inserting Chinese characters into Western films won't help the box office, it will actually affect the overall revenue. If the film loses money, will they refund the actors' salaries out of consideration for their compatriots? Definitely not. People who come to America to make a living, no matter how noble they were before, become selfish and only care about money after a while. They treat their fellow countrymen worse than anyone else. I've been in America for over half a year and have heard many stories of Chinese people cheating their compatriots. So when you're making movies, just focus on making the film, make it good, and don't worry about anything else. If someone asks you for roles, let me handle them. Liu Xiaoli finished speaking and poked his shoulder. Are you even listening to me? Listen, you mean when you're making a movie, focus on the film and don't think about personal relationships, right? Link smiled. Pretty much. Now that your career is so big, a lot of people are watching you, hoping to get a piece of your action. Chen Chong and the others are the same. The closer you get to that point, the more careful you need to be. Don't give them the chance, you're right, better safe than sorry. Sister Xiaoli, it's so good to have you by my side, HMPH, now you know how good I am? As long as you don't mess around and don't bully me, I'll always be good to you. In the rearview mirror, Liu Xiaoli's cheeks were flushed, her eyes sparkled under the lights, and her thin lips curved into an alluring smile, sweeter than the candied cherries from before. Liu Xiaoli, you're so beautiful, don't talk nonsense, concentrate on driving. Liu Xiaoli slapped his back in embarrassment and annoyance. After dropping Liu Xiaoli and the little girl back at Rex's apartment, as he left, Link took advantage of the little girl's inattention and kissed Liu Xiaoli a few times. When Liu Xiaoli realized what was happening, she almost kicked him to death. Back in the car, Lin K received 2 text messages. Chen Chong asked you if he had arrived home safely, saying they had a pleasant chat and she hoped to have dinner with him sometime. Lin K replied, okay, maybe sometime. The other message was from Wu Junmei, also asking if he had arrived home safely, telling him to be careful on the road, and then inviting him to her home, saying she could cook many Chinese dishes. Lin K also replied, okay. Driving back to the Golden Oak Apartments, Monica was still awake, lounging on the sofa near the French windows, wearing a pink spaghetti-strap nightgown, her breasts slightly exposed, a cashmere blanket covering her legs, her red manicured feet peeking out from under the blanket. A glass of red wine sat on the small table. She held the script for Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. The movie was about a Miami football team whose mascot dolphin was stolen on the eve of a game, and Jim Carrey's character, an animal detective, was hired to find the dolphin, leading to a series of absurd events. Monica's original role was the female lead, the beautiful agent for the Miami Dolphins. After reading the script, Monica felt the second female lead's character was more interesting and more challenging to play. The second female lead, Ellis, is the main villain in the film, a mature, beautiful, and sexy cross-dresser, and also the culprit who kidnapped the Dolphin team's mascot. Director Tom Shadyac also felt Monica was more suitable for the role. So the role was given to Monica. Why aren't the lights on? Link turned on the chandelier in the small living room, making the whole room brighter. You're back. It wasn't this dark when I was reading the script. Monica got up from the sofa, her thick, long curly hair draped over her shoulders. Her silk nightgown clung to her full breasts and flat stomach, the curves subtly revealed beneath the hem. Particularly alluring under the light. Have you eaten? Link hugged her waist and kissed her. Yes, I ate. Since you weren't here, I just made some pasta. Want some more? You might have been working out a lot tonight. Haha, do you still want some? Monica laughed, clinging to him. I was so busy talking at the party that I didn't eat much. I can eat some more with you. Okay, I'll make it right away. Monica kissed him, slipped on her slippers, and went into the kitchen. Link took a shower, changed into soft clothes, and when he came to the dining room, Monica had already prepared the meal, a fragrant seaweed soup and several hot pizzas. Link wasn't very hungry and drank a small bowl of soup. The two chatted about their talent agency while eating. He had originally planned to start a talent agency and have Monica manage it, signing Renee Zellweger, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and others. However, Monica wasn't very interested in starting a business or making money. Compared to managing a company and making money, she preferred acting, shopping, beauty yoga, and photo shoots for fashion magazines. She loved anything that helped her maintain her beauty. Link didn't try to persuade her to pursue a career. Compared to Jennifer, who was more career-driven, he preferred Monica's approach, a little career-minded, but not overly so. It had a very Italian style. Chapter 117 Brokerage Firm. However, the idea of starting a talent agency wasn't put aside. During a casual conversation, Sam Haskell suggested that instead of starting a new agency, acquiring one would be better. He was already a film company owner and a famous director. With too much work, running another agency would be overwhelming. Acquiring an agency, or becoming a shareholder, would allow him to delegate tasks and reduce his workload. Link agreed. Sam, do you have any good suggestions? You really want to invest in a talent agency? Let me tell you, this industry is very complex. It requires not only capital but also connections and political resources, which are generally beyond the reach of ordinary people. Sam Haskell shook his head. I don't want to control a talent agency, I just want to make an investment and earn some money. Based on my personal experience, the film industry will become increasingly profitable in the next few years, and there will be more and more movie stars. Talent agencies will be more profitable, so investing in one is a relatively worthwhile way to manage money. Besides, after the huge success of Paranormal Activity, many CAA-affiliated filmmakers have openly targeted me. My future development in the film industry will be more difficult than others. Becoming a shareholder in a talent agency means I won't have to worry about being held hostage by CAA, Link said. I'm sorry, Link. After you were attacked, I reported it to the company, asking them to contact several celebrity clients to support you, but my application was rejected. Sam Haskell's dark eyes flashed with helplessness. He pointed outside the office. Although you are a WMA client, your cooperation with the company isn't close enough. The company hasn't made money from your film projects and doesn't want to stand up for you. Also, actually, many filmmakers within WMA have opinions about the huge success of Paranormal Activity. Some are jealous of your youth and your hirings. Others think you're frequently hyping up your films, breaking industry rules, and so on. But I think you did a fantastic job. A film with a budget of $20,000 grossed $600 million worldwide. That's absolutely amazing, Link. It's an honor to be your agent. Sam Haskell patted him on the shoulder excitedly. It's not that exaggerated. I was just lucky, Link laughed. Yes, luck plays a part, but how many people who make a name for themselves in the entertainment industry are unlucky? Haskell paused, glancing at him a few times. Link, I'm an agent, and I have some connections in the media industry. Next time you're involved in any news, remember to include me so I can make some money too. No problem. Back to the agency. You've worked at WMA for over 10 years. Have you considered going solo? We can collaborate. Go solo. Yes. Michael Ovitz left to found CAA. David Geffen became vice president of Universal Music. Bauer Benedict founded Utah. And there's also Disney president Michael Eisner, Paramount Pictures chairman Barry Diller, and so on. They were all originally WMA agents, and after leaving, they became influential figures in the entertainment industry. Sam, you've worked at WMA for over 10 years, longer than Michael Ovitz and others, and you're more capable. If you're willing to leave WMA and collaborate with me to start an agency, in 10 years, no, in 5 years, your status in Hollywood will definitely not be inferior to theirs, Link patiently persuaded him. Sam Haskell's breathing quickened, and his fists clenched unconsciously. Okay, you agree? Then it's a deal. Wait. Sam Haskell gasped for breath, wiping the sweat from his brow, and said with a wry smile, No, I almost gave in. Link, it's not that I don't want to go solo, it's just that times have changed. In the 1970s, WMA was the dominant force, and competition wasn't fierce. That's the main reason why people like Michael Ovitz succeeded. Now, there are 3 major agencies and thousands of smaller ones. Agencies compete, poach talent, and attack each other, making the competition increasingly intense. Hundreds of agencies go bankrupt every year. In the past few years, more than a dozen senior agents have left WMA to go solo, and apart from Bauer Benedict, all of them have failed, earning far less than they did at WMA. And I'm just a mid-level agent now. My connections and abilities aren't as good as theirs, making it even harder to succeed. Even if you invested $100 million in me, I wouldn't be confident I could do it well. Sam Haskell chuckled self-deprecatingly, taking a sip of his almost cold coffee. If I were a newcomer to WMA and you approached me about starting a business together, I'd cling to you. But after over a decade in this industry, seeing too much of the inside story and hearing too many tales, my courage has waned. I've lost the boldness and drive I once had. In my current state, starting a business would be very difficult. I understand, Link nodded and smiled. This was probably a classic case of the older you get, the less daring you become. Introduce me to a suitable brokerage firm for investment. I'll give you a commission if it works out. Haha, that's a good idea. I've dealt with many small and medium-sized brokerage firms in the industry. Sam Haskell pulled out a bunch of materials to help him find a suitable target. A few days later, with Sam Haskell's help, he invested $7.5 million in Utah United Elite Brothers, acquiring a 12% stake. Utah was founded in 1991, last year, through the merger of Bauer Benedict Brothers and Leading Artists Brothers. Marty Bauer, one of the founders of Bauer Benedict, was originally a senior agent at WMA, William Morris Agency. He has a past connection with Sam Haskell. Utah United Elite Agency is currently a mid-sized agency with only 26 agents and 65 clients, primarily film stars, directors, and television elites. Notable clients include the Coen brothers, directors, Laura Dern, actress, and Sting, singer, but no A-list stars. It's far behind the big 3, CAA, WMA, and ICM, struggling to survive. However, Utah has good future potential. With its strong business acumen, it has gradually grown into the 4th largest agency in Hollywood, competing with the big 3. Its clients span the global entertainment industry, including many Chinese actors and singers. Its market capitalization is in the billions of dollars. This is why Link chose to invest in Utah instead of other mid-sized agencies. This is also why United Elite Agency readily agreed to his investment. On the one hand, the company was newly established and lacked funds for development. Currently, it was in the IPO financing stage, and Link's investment was a timely boon for Yuta. Secondly, United Elite valued his status as a film company owner and a famous director, possessing numerous resources, making cooperation with him highly beneficial. After he became a shareholder of United Elite, Monica Bellucci, Renee Zellweger, and Jim Carrey smoothly became clients of Yuta. Monica also served as his representative on the Yuta board of directors. Link remained with William Morris. He was now an important client of William Morris Agency and a shareholder of United Elite Agency, and could enjoy the services of both companies simultaneously if needed. There was no need for him to switch to United Elite. Ding ding. What are you thinking about? At the dining table, Monica licked the yogurt on her spoon, smiling at him. Has the company arranged any new scripts for you? Yes, but I haven't accepted them. I plan to finish Ace Ventura, Pet Detective before considering other roles. Taking on too many roles at once is too tiring. You're right. Focusing on one role well is better than randomly playing 10. We don't lack resources, you can take your time choosing. Don't worry about not having roles. Link touched her cheek, wiping away the milk stains from the corner of her lips. Monica smiled slightly, straddled him, and kissed him. After dinner, they had another snack, and from the dining table to the bedroom, another long night passed. Chapter 118 Year-End Arrangements. After filming Paranormal Activity, Link handed over the publicity to John Gordon, the acquisition of other businesses to Michael Leeson, and the production of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective to Daniel DeVito. He continued his book signings in the U.S. The reason for these signings was the immense popularity and success of Interstellar in the U.S. Not only did ordinary science fiction fans love it, but many university professors also publicly recommended the book, claiming that one could skip Link's movies but not Interstellar, a book that allowed readers to see the future and the universe. Interstellar sold 690,000 copies in its first 3 weeks in the U.S. After a hiatus in signings, it still sold 413,000 copies in the fourth week and officially surpassed 500,000 copies in the fifth week. Currently, its total sales in the U.S. are 1.52 million copies, successfully surpassing other books published around the same time, such as The Bridges of Madison County and Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, to become the #1 bestseller. Starting in the sixth week, Link returned to the publicity team, continuing his promotional tours and signings in various cities across the U.S. Due to his good stamina, he sometimes signed over 5,000 books a day. Whoosh! During his book signings, he met many celebrities, including former Apple CEO Steve Jobs, Yahoo founder Jerry Yang, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, a student at the University of Pennsylvania. They praised his descriptions of the future technology in the book and asked for his contact information so they could communicate with him more often. Link was busy at the time and didn't have time for long conversations, so he gave them his email address and told them to contact him by email if needed. After 3 weeks of continuous travel, Link had visited almost every major city in the United States. By December, the first round of promotion for Interstellar in the United States was completed, and Link and his promotional team returned to Los Angeles to rest, waiting for the film's international release the following year before continuing the promotion. At the end of the year, the company had a lot of work to do, including year-end reviews, film box office statistics, planning for the coming year, and distributing bonuses to employees. Every day there were endless materials to read and documents to sign. Link, hasn't the company given us a holiday yet? Jennifer Connelly asked on the phone. No, I'm working on the budget for a new film project. We originally planned to invest in 4 films, but we added another one at the end of the year. Next year, the company will have 5 film projects, doubling the workload. Link held the phone between his shoulder and arm, scribbling and drawing, busy as a bee. 5? You're investing in 5 films next year? That's too many. Even the big 7 studios only make a dozen or so a year. Guessing Movies is a new company. Can you handle 5 films? A bit too much? Do you want to come help? You really want me to come help? Jennifer Connelly laughed. Yes, every time I hear you speak, no matter how tired I am, I feel relaxed. If you're with me when I'm working overtime, I can work for more than 3 days straight. You're my best cure for fatigue, you said it yourself. I'll come to Guessing Movies tomorrow to keep you company at work. Don't think I'm annoying then. No way. Link put down his pen, switched the phone to his other shoulder, and continued chatting with Jennifer, asking what she was doing and where she was spending Christmas. While he was chatting with Jennifer, Liu Xiaoli came in from outside carrying documents. Hearing their conversation, Liu Xiaoli rolled her eyes at him. "Jenny, works here, let's talk later, Muma." Link hung up the phone, twisted his neck which was almost cramping, and sighed, "I've been so busy today, even the president's workload probably can't compare to mine." "Sister Xiaoli, what are you carrying? Serves you right. Having Monica and still hooking up with Jennifer Connelly, I really don't know what you're thinking. Is being a scumbag fun?" Liu Xiaoli gave him a cold look. "Sister Xiaoli, it's not that I want to be a scumbag, it's that I have a problem." "What problem?" "It's not a problem, okay? From a traditional Chinese medicine perspective, it's a kind of problem, called excessive yang energy, meaning easy erections." "Erections?" Liu Xiaoli suddenly realized, a blush creeping onto her cheeks, and she spat at him in embarrassment and annoyance. "I'm not lying to you, you'll find out later." Link really wasn't lying. After multiple enhancements, not only did his body become stronger and his energy more abundant, but his physiological needs also became extremely strong. What used to happen once every week or two, now he could do it anytime, anywhere. Fortunately, he could control it, otherwise he would have to wear iron shorts to work every day. "Who wants to know about that kind of dirty stuff?" Liu Xiaoli waved the documents in her hand as if to hide him, but out of respect for her boss, she didn't. "What are these?" Link took the documents from her. "Work?" Liu Xiaoli opened the documents and explained them to him one by one. Because Guest C Pictures had 5 film investment plans for next year, 4 of which were in preparation and planned to start filming early next year, the company had a lot of work at the end of the year. The films to be filmed early next year were, in order, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Final Destination, Pulp Fiction, The Joy Luck Club, and the yet-to-be-confirmed 7. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective had a budget of $12 million, with Columbia Pictures investing $8 million and Guest C Pictures investing $4 million. Under the premise of breaking even, the film's revenue would be split 50-50. The film is currently in pre-production and is scheduled to begin filming in January. Final Destination has a budget of $15 million and is exclusively produced by Guest C Pictures. Casting is still underway, and filming is planned to begin in March or April. Pulp Fiction has a production cost of $10 million, with Guest C Pictures and Miramax Pictures each contributing $5 million. After its release, the film will be jointly distributed, with box office revenue split 50-50. Wayne Wang's The Joy Luck Club has a budget of $10.5 million and is co-produced by Guest C Pictures and Hollywood Studios, each contributing $5 million. 7 is still in the pipeline. In addition to these 5 films, The Blair Witch Project has a confirmed release date of February next year. And this, Vanity Fair wants to take some photos of you for their January cover, and an editor from Forbes called to schedule an interview with you. Liu Xiaoli leaned forward and pointed to the documents. "Forbes? My net worth is enough to make Forbes. Rumor has it you earned $400 million this year. Last year, Forbes' entry threshold for the 400 richest Americans was $350 million. Forbes probably thinks you qualify. $400 million? I have to pay taxes." The thought of taxes made Link wince. Corporate and personal income taxes practically ripped him off, but he couldn't avoid paying. He had to find ways to legally minimize his taxes, such as investing in stocks and engaging in philanthropy. Also, Aaron Kutch, the deputy editor of The Hollywood Reporter, called to interview you and take your picture. Based on the current box office results, Paranormal Activity is 100% the year's box office champion. As is customary, The Hollywood Reporter interviews the director of the top-grossing film every year when they release the annual box office rankings. "Aaron is an old acquaintance, we can arrange it in advance." Link took the phone, glanced at it, and dialed Aaron Kutch to schedule the interview for Thursday. "And there's also the release of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and Columbia Pictures has invited you to attend." "I know that, Monica already mentioned it." Chapter 119: A Love Story Across 400 Years. On Friday, Link accompanied Monica to the Beverly Boulevard Cinema for the premiere of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Bram Stoker's Dracula is a film project co-produced by Columbia Pictures and Francis Ford Coppola's studio. Filming began in the latter half of last year and wrapped in March of this year. The film stars Hollywood's rising star Winona Ryder, British actor Gary Oldman, who also played the second villain in Leon, the Professional, and Hollywood's rising star Keanu Reeves, among others. Monica plays the 8th female lead, with only a few dozen seconds of screen time, not even a minor role. However, on the movie poster, Monica's character is listed 5th, with a bust. Columbia Pictures also mentioned Monica in their promotional materials, claiming that Katie Holmes, the lead actress in Paranormal Activity, unexpectedly appeared in the vampire film Bram Stoker's Dracula, delivering a thrilling performance. Coincidentally, in Paranormal Activity, Monica played Katie, who was eventually possessed by an evil spirit and drank the blood of the male lead, Micah. In Bram Stoker's Dracula, Monica played the vampire bride. 2 films from different eras and with different themes are connected because of Monica's roles. It's quite an interesting story. Hey, Link, why didn't you tell me you were coming to the premiere of Bram Stoker's Dracula? Sofia Coppola caught up with him at the cinema entrance and asked. I thought you knew, we wanted to surprise you. Monica smiled and linked arms with Link. It really is a surprise. Link, come with me to meet my dad later, he's been wanting to talk to you for a while, Sofia said as they walked. Finally, I'm going to meet the legendary director Coppola, I'm so excited, don't be silly. My dad is a fan of your books, he might even ask you for an autograph later, Sofia patted his shoulder. Francis Ford Coppola is the leader of the Italian clique in Hollywood and one of the most senior directors in the Hollywood film industry today. The renowned director George Lucas once worked as his assistant in the 1970s. Italian-American director Martin Scorsese also received his patronage. His films have launched the careers of many actors, including Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Matt Dillon, Diane Lane, and Nicolas Cage, most of whom are of Italian descent. This group is the core of the Italian clique in Hollywood. Today, Coppola's new film is being released, and a large number of stars, 40 or 50 people, have come to support him, including Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, Richard Gere and his wife, Madonna, and Dustin Hoffman. Although Link is also a star director, he still pales in comparison to these veterans. Through Sofia's introduction, he met director Francis Ford Coppola. Director Coppola, 53 years old, was a portly man with a slicked-back hairstyle and a full beard, resembling a mafia godfather. Upon meeting Link, Coppola wasn't as enthusiastic as Sofia had described. He exchanged a few pleasantries, praising Link's novel Interstellar as excellent and hoping he would write more works like it. He didn't mention Link's 2 films at all. It seemed that in his eyes, Link was a writer, not a director. Dad, why don't you talk about Link's movies? Paranormal Activity grossed over $600 million worldwide, higher than 99% of directors' films. Don't you want to say more? Sofia winked and smiled playfully. Director Coppola glanced at her and said reluctantly, Baird was very good. Very creative. For a new director to make a film of this caliber with limited funds, you have the potential to be a director. Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Coppola. I will work hard, Link smiled. Dad, what kind of praise is that? Link made Baird with $20,000 and it grossed over $70 million worldwide. He made Paranormal Activity with $20,000 and it grossed over $600 million worldwide, and it might even break $700 million someday. Can you do that? You definitely can't, and not only you, Uncle Scorsese can't either. Director Martin Scorsese, who was watching the spectacle, wanted to see how Sofia would argue with her father, but he didn't expect Sofia to be so unsportsmanlike, turning her anger towards him in the end. Director Martin Scorsese, 50 years old, had a rather cheerful face, especially his thick, black eyebrows, which were as striking as Coppola's white beard. Upon hearing Sofia's words, his eyebrows immediately drooped, and his face became a Chinese character meaning awkward or embarrassed. Sofia, why are you criticizing me like that? Director Scorsese complained. I'm stating the facts. Link made a film that grossed over $100 million with only $20,000. That's a miracle in film history. And it made all new directors realize one thing, in the film industry, capital isn't the most important thing, talent is key. A director with talent can create endless possibilities. Link also gave you big directors a vivid lesson with Paranormal Activity. When making a film, the directing theories you advocate, the talented actors you admire, and the capital that always bothers you are all unimportant. A good script, a good idea, and a good marketing strategy are the most important, Sofia laughed, wagging her finger. HMPH. Directing theories aren't important, acting isn't important, So is box office the most important thing? According to you, all the best films in the world are commercial films. If everyone does it this way, the cinemas will be full of commercial films in the future. How can the artistry of film be guaranteed? Should we abandon them all? When discussing this issue, director Coppola's expression immediately became serious. I used to think that the artistry of a film was very important, but after working with Link for a while, I think it's not so important. What? The artistry of a film isn't important. Director Coppola turned into an angry lion. His daughter, a renowned art house director, dared to say that the artistry of a film wasn't important? This was outrageous. What do you know? Artistry is the soul of all artistic works, whether painting, literature, or film. A film without artistry is like a person without a soul. A person without a soul is boring, dull, even dead. You think artistry isn't important? Director Coppola unconsciously raised his voice. People around also turned to look, ready to witness this argument between Coppolas. Sofia, stop talking, Monica gently tugged at Sofia's arm. Sofia was someone who loved to argue, regardless of gender or status. As long as the right person was there, she could even argue with her father. Link stood between Sofia and Monica, on the opposite side of directors Coppola and Scorsese, and the onlookers, smiling as a bystander. Dad, please don't twist the facts. I said artistry isn't that important in film, not that film doesn't need artistry. Those are completely different concepts, Sofia said. Sofia, you say artistry isn't important. Then what is most important? Scorsese asked. Entertainment, of course, Sofia replied. Directors Coppola and Scorsese, among others, all shook their heads. Chapter 120 Happiness is the most important thing. Dad, while traveling in Rome, Italy, I pondered something. What was the purpose of the ancient Roman Colosseum? Was it to boost Rome's economy, or to demonstrate force against rival powers through competition? After careful investigation, I discovered neither. The most important function of the Colosseum was entertainment. Gladiators' matches allowed ordinary citizens to vent their pent-up anger, thus reducing urban riots. Modern sports competitions are similar. They use athletic competition to replace armed confrontation, and by gathering and managing physically strong individuals, even playing ball, there's no need to worry about them turning into Spartacus-like rioters when provoked. Globally, countries with good public security tend to be stronger in international sporting events. This applies to everything from sports to movies, to painting, music, dance, and novels. Movies primarily serve entertainment, allowing ordinary people to pass the time in their leisure time, focusing their attention on entertainment news and celebrities, rather than plotting riots. They inspire ordinary people to dream of becoming stars and entertaining the masses, rather than politicians and warlords. Take Hitler, for example. If he had a good job, if he had been a renowned painter, would he still have gone from an art student to a monster who wreaked havoc on the world? Sofia smiled at the crowd. The crowd frowned. At first, when she mentioned gladiatorial arenas and sporting competitions, many wanted to object, dismissing her as nonsense. But when she used Hitler as an example, the topic suddenly became heavy. It was only 1992, less than 50 years since the end of World War II, and many present had experienced that global catastrophe. Sofia, don't talk nonsense. You're too young, you've never made a film, you don't understand film art at all. Starting next year, you'll study directing theory for 2 years, and you'll know how important artistry is to film. Director Coppola glared at his daughter, thinking that Sofia had only worked on Link's film crew for less than a month, and her ideas had become so unorthodox. Link was toxic. He absolutely couldn't let Sofia associate with Link anymore. If she continued like this, his daughter would be ruined. Dad, of course I know what the artistry of film is. I think what you mean by artistry should include entertainment. Uncle Scorsese, please don't interrupt me. Seeing that director Martin Scorsese was about to speak, Sofia waved her hand. As a professor of directing at New York University, director Martin Scorsese reluctantly shut his mouth. Although he had a whole trainload of things to say to refute Sofia, Sofia didn't give him a chance to speak. I think I'm right. The artistry of a film should be included within its entertainment value. The purpose of ordinary films is to entertain the general public, those who haven't received higher education, don't understand art, and have low aesthetic standards. Films that the general public enjoys might not appeal to highly educated individuals or those with higher aesthetic standards. So how do we entertain this group with films? It's simple. Add what you call artistry to ordinary films, use artistry to stimulate their stimuli, make them feel good, and get them to spend their time watching movies instead of participating in a new era Paris Commune. So artistry is also a form of entertainment, just targeting a higher level of cultural understanding. Uncle Scorsese, am I right? Sophia laughed. Martin Scorsese frowned and thought for a moment. No, that's too simplistic. Art is also a form of wealth, like the paintings of Van Gogh and Picasso. The same goes for film art. Films with artistry still have viewing value, no matter how many years have passed. Director Scorsese is right, everyone nodded in unison. Uncle Scorsese, are you referring to silent films when you say they are artistic? In the era of sound films, how many people still watch these kinds of movies? How much entertainment value do movies that no one watches have? And what about the paintings of Van Gogh and Picasso? How many ordinary people can understand their artistry? Not many. Everyone just knows their paintings are valuable. So, Van Gogh and Picasso's paintings are also tools used to entertain highly educated people, a form of entertainment. Sophia spoke faster and faster during the debate, her face flushed, as if she were doing something very exciting. Sophia, stop talking. Director Coppola's expression darkened further. Although he agreed with some of what Sophia said, this wasn't the place for a young person like her to express her opinions. She could say whatever she wanted at the dinner table, not in front of so many filmmakers who valued cinematic art. Suddenly, Director Coppola noticed that Link was also smiling. He couldn't help but snort. Director Link, do you also agree with Sophia's arguments? Yes, very much so, Link smiled. Sophia affectionately nudged his arm. So that's why Director Lin made a gimmicky movie like Paranormal Activity. Dustin Hoffman laughed, standing in the crowd. Because of his short stature, he looked somewhat inconspicuous next to the tall Keanu Reeves. Link glanced at him. Sophia mentioned that artistry is included within entertainment, and I agree with that. As for my films Barrett and Paranormal Activity, I've always believed a film only has value if it's watched, regardless of whether the audience is a casual viewer with low appreciation levels or a highly educated intellectual who enjoys art films. In July 1776, the United States signed the Declaration of Independence, stating that all people were created equally by God. In 1789, France issued the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, stating that everyone is equal before the law. Since then, equality has become a universal consensus. However, the film industry doesn't seem to have achieved this. People who watch art films look down on ordinary people who watch mainstream films. Filmmakers who work in art films disdain their commercial film counterparts, considering themselves superior. This is not good. Commercial films serve 90% of the general audience, while art films serve 10% of the elite. We're all in the service industry. There's no need to be complacent just because our target audience is the elite, nor is there any need to feel self-conscious about making commercial or gimmicky films. It's the entertainment industry, everyone should be happy. Well said. Sophia clapped excitedly and reached out to high-five Link, as if the two had won a victory together. The others, however, looked at Link with displeasure. While what he said was true, the truth was too ugly. No one could be happy seeing their own ugliness. Suddenly, the cheerful-looking director Martin Scorsese clapped his hands. Haha, Link, Sophia, you both spoke very well. Your views are refreshing. I hope we can chat more sometime. So this old guy can hear what you young directors are thinking. Okay, no problem, Sophia smiled. Link nodded in agreement. Seeing Martin Scorsese clap, Keanu Reeves, Nicolas Cage, and a few other young people also clapped. But most of the audience remained silent. The silence continued until the film Bram Stoker's Dracula started, at which point the theater became lively and cheerful again. In the entertainment industry, everyone's happiness is the most important thing. Chapter 121 Premiere. Link, I'm so happy, so incredibly happy. In the audience, Sophia, clinging to her other arm, was practically jumping for joy. Happy about what? Is it because you said those things and silenced those people? Link chuckled. Yes, back then, when my dad and the others talked about film art, it was like discussing religion, rigid and serious. Sometimes when I disagreed, they vehemently opposed it and wouldn't accept my ideas. I didn't know much then, and I thought film art was inherently serious and shouldn't be discussed lightly. Later, I saw your film, made with only $20,000, which decisively crushed a bunch of overhyped Hollywood blockbusters, and I thought you were so cool. Then I heard about your Yakuza film theory, and how you deliberately made films for ordinary audiences. I suddenly realized your idea was right. Movies should be simple and easy to understand, so everyone can comprehend them. Instead of those old men deliberately making films obscure and difficult to understand, thinking they're profound and that if the audience can't understand, it's because they're not sophisticated enough. I've decided to make ordinary films from now on, films that everyone can understand, Sophia said. Link rubbed his forehead, feeling like he was about to lead a talented female director astray. Sophia, do you know my goal as a director? You said you wanted to win an Academy Award and Best Director at one of the 3 major European film festivals. That's right. Do you know who the judges are? What do you mean? The judges at the Academy Awards and other film festivals are mostly elites who value film art and have high aesthetic standards. If I want to win these awards, I can't keep making films like Paranormal Activity and The Blair Witch Project forever. In the future, I will also make more artistic commercial films. I was a new director before, and the purpose of making Paranormal Activity was to make money. Economic base determines the superstructure. Without money, I couldn't make the kind of film that both ordinary people like and the elite praise. So if you become a director in the future, don't worry about commercial films or art films. Make the films you like. Only when you have no constraints in your mind can you achieve a high degree of freedom in artistic creation and make films that are universally praised. So don't be too fixated on what you learned on the Blair Witch Project, and don't underestimate the film theories Capella taught you. If you can stand neutrally and look at both methods dialectically, you'll find your own path. Link said all this because he was worried that Sophia might go astray and try to work the way he did. Although his filmmaking skills were quite mature and his directing theories were innovative, he was still a step behind Capella and others. I know. But I'm increasingly convinced that you're a very capable guy, both in filmmaking and in your thinking. Sophia held his arm tightly in her arms, nestled between her not-so-full chest, letting his palm rest on her warm belly, seemingly unconcerned about the close contact. It's all right, I'm not that great, Link shrugged. Monica, standing beside them, glanced at the two of them, a hint of disappointment in her eyes. Link's left hand was held by Sophia and he couldn't move it, but he didn't forget Monica on his right. After the movie started, he reached out and took Monica's hand. Monica held his arms tightly. Both arms were warm. Quentin, positioned slightly behind Link, clenched his fist, wanting to punch Link on the head a few times. He'd heard Coppola's new movie was showing and wanted to come and learn. Seeing Link sitting there, he'd sneaked over, intending to surprise him. But before he could even act, Link had already embraced 2 women, truly embraced 2 women, both aware of each other's presence, thankfully without minding. This was too much? What was he, a single guy, supposed to do? Even worse, both girls were Italian, and so was he. 2 Italian beauties didn't like him, this handsome Italian guy, but instead liked Link, this Chinese guy. How infuriating. To avoid further annoyance, he switched seats with Lawrence Bender, out of sight, out of mind. The movie began. Bram Stoker's Dracula, the story of Count Dracula. In the 15th century, the Ottoman Empire conquered Europe, threatening to annex all its nations. At that time, Europe was predominantly Christian, while Turkey adhered to Islam, making this a religious war. Count Dracula was ordered to the battlefield to fight for God. The war progressed smoothly, but rumors circulated that Count Dracula had died in battle. His wife, Elizabeth, heartbroken, jumped to her death. According to Christian doctrine, those who commit suicide cannot go to heaven but are condemned to hell. Enraged, Count Dracula pierced the heart of Jesus on the cross with his sword and drank Jesus' blood, thus becoming Count Dracula, the vampire. This is the origin of Dracula as the progenitor of vampires in European and American folklore. 400 years later, a small-time lawyer named Jonathan was ordered to Dracula's castle to handle a house sale contract. Count Dracula unexpectedly discovered that the lawyer's fiancée resembled his deceased wife, Elizabeth. He imprisoned the lawyer in the castle and went to London to meet the lawyer's fiancée, Mina. The plot in the middle is incredibly melodramatic. As Mina interacts with Dracula, she gradually awakens memories of her past life and begins to waver between the lawyer and Dracula. Count Dracula, needing to drink blood to maintain his human form in London, kills many people, including Mina's best friend. After Mina's friend becomes a vampire, she is discovered by the mystic Van Helsing, and they begin plotting to eliminate Count Dracula. Later, the lawyer and Van Helsing join forces to fight Dracula. Just as they are about to kill Dracula, Mina arrives to save him. Later, under divine intervention, Dracula regains his senses, deeply regrets his sins, and begs Mina to kill him. Dracula's soul is then able to go to heaven. The film is quite good, with high artistic merit, top-notch art direction, extremely meticulous costumes, gorgeous scenes, and impressive sound effects. Gary Oldman's acting is superb, and Winona Ryder is beautiful. The only downside is that the story is too cliched and the style too heavy, making it much weaker in narrative than similar films like Ghost. It's a bit like a Chinese version of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Clap clap clap. Clap clap clap. The movie ended, and the theater erupted in enthusiastic applause and cheers. Judging from the audience's reaction, the movie was pretty good. Link clapped his hands too. "Baby, you did a great job in the movie," Link said to Monica beside him. "You really think so?" Monica laughed. She and two other actresses played a vampire bride who seduces a young lawyer. They only appeared 5 times, with 3 lines. And each time they appeared in revealing clothing and gothic makeup. Their acting was practically non-existent. "Yes, every time you appeared, I watched you intently. No one did a better job." Link hugged Monica and kissed her. Monica glanced at Sophia, wrapped her arms around his neck, and gave him a passionate kiss. "Hey, have you two had enough kissing?" Sophia said, annoyed. "Sophia, Link's kissing skills are amazing, do you want to try?" Monica joked. "No way." Sophia turned her head away, but held on to Link's hand tightly with her other hand. Link smiled slightly, released Monica and Sophia, and went to the front to congratulate director Coppola. Chapter 122 Party. After the premiere of Bram Stoker's Dracula, Link and Monica were invited by the film crew to a premiere party at the Bulgari Hotel. Through Sophia's introduction, he met Al Pacino, Nicolas Cage, Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder, and others. At the party, he got along well with Keanu Reeves and Nicolas Cage, but struggled to connect with the older actors like Gary Oldman, Richard Gere, and Dustin Hoffman. Link tried to greet them, but received no positive response. He then stopped paying attention to them. Since it was the end of the year and the Golden Globe and Academy Awards were approaching, the conversation at the party revolved around Bram Stoker's Dracula and predictions for next year's Golden Globes and Oscars, focusing on which films would win. Films like Al Pacino's Scent of a Woman, Robert Downey Jr.'s Chaplin, Tom Cruise's A Few Good Men, and Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven were frequently mentioned. However, the year's highest-grossing film, Paranormal Activity, and the critically acclaimed Buried were largely ignored. "Link, do you want an Oscar too?" Nicolas Cage leaned against the railing, swirling his glass and laughing. "Yes. Don't you? Haha, me too. But I think of everyone here, you have the least chance of winning an Oscar." Nicolas Cage pointed at him and laughed. "Why, you should know who the Academy voters are. They're filmmakers from various unions, and this year you've taught everyone a lesson with 2 films, showing them that good actors don't matter, good cinematographers don't matter, good art directors don't matter, and movies can still be huge hits without them. The success of Paranormal Activity negates the traditional filmmaking process, negates their value, so it's no wonder they're not voting for you." Nicolas Cage laughed. Johnny Depp chimed in. Paranormal Activity's box office performance was truly astonishing, it shocked everyone. I heard someone suggested that The Hollywood Reporter not include Paranormal Activity in their annual box office rankings. Because Paranormal Activity was #1 in both North America and worldwide, it was a blow and a huge embarrassment for many filmmakers. They might secretly resent you and definitely wouldn't vote for you. Johnny Depp, dressed in a neat plaid suit, with his hair slicked back, spoke with a gentle smile, looking like a sunny, boyish figure. This image was vastly different from what he would become decades later. People in the industry often say that actors shape characters, but in reality, characters also shape every actor. For veteran actors, the more deeply a character's mark is left on them, the more significant it becomes. Johnny Depp wouldn't have become the person he is today if he hadn't acted in films like Edward Scissorhands and Pirates of the Caribbean. If I were Link, I wouldn't care about the Oscar, over $600 million at the box office, or being the highest-grossing film of the year. Those 2 labels are more precious than any film award, Keanu Reeves added with a charming smile. Haha, I agree with Keanu. After all, like the Oscar for Best Picture, there's only one box office champion each year. In Hollywood's 100-year history, only 100 films have ever topped the box office. This label is truly prestigious, Nicolas Cage laughed. That sounds reasonable. Since everyone says so, I won't compete for next year's Oscar. I'll give you the chance. How generous of me, Link joked. Haha. As if you could win an Oscar, the group laughed. Link smiled. He was indeed joking. Buried and Paranormal Activity are both thrillers, eligible for next year's Saturn Awards. The Oscars and Golden Globes mostly select high-quality art films and technically innovative commercial films. Buried and Paranormal Activity don't meet the Oscar criteria. For Link to win an Oscar, he would need to make a higher-quality film to gain recognition from the elite. For someone who has offended almost half of the entertainment industry, this is extremely difficult. Hey, handsome guys, look over here. Hearing someone call them handsome, Link, Keanu Reeves, and Johnny Depp instinctively turned around. Click. Click. Sophia snapped several photos of the four of them with her camera. Link and Keanu stood in the middle, Johnny Depp on the left, and only Nicolas Cage on the right leaned casually against the railing. Sophia, wait a minute, I didn't strike a pose. Nicolas Cage straightened up and adjusted his bow tie. Actually, it's the same without you, Sophia muttered, taking another picture of the four of them. The four men, dressed in dark suits, were tall and handsome, each with their own unique charm and style. What are you talking about? You seem to be having a good time, Sophia asked, holding her camera. Link said he wants to win the Oscar for Best Director, and we said he won't. Ha ha ha, Nicolas Cage laughed heartily. What's so funny? Link is only 20 years old and he's already won the year's box office champion. Is the Oscar for Best Director harder to win than the year's box office champion? It's different. The year's box office champion relies more on luck, while the Oscar for Best Director is an award chosen by thousands of people. There's no element of luck involved, so it's harder to win, Nicolas Cage said. While Sophia and Nicolas Cage were talking, director Martin Scorsese came over to chat with Link. He praised his films Buried and Paranormal Activity, saying he was a unique, insightful, and creative director with immense potential in the film industry. He also hoped that Link would spend more time studying film theory and making more great films. Director Scorsese then discussed the entertainment and artistry of film again. He agreed with Sophia's point that entertainment includes artistry, but believed that the role of artistry is not only to please the elite but also to raise the aesthetic standards of ordinary viewers, allowing them to experience humanity and appreciate truth, goodness, and beauty. At the same time, as audiences' aesthetic standards rise, their demands for films increase, forcing directors to improve their abilities to meet those demands. This will make the film industry more and more prosperous. It's a long-term plan. Link nodded, agreeing with his point of view. Director Martin Scorsese was pleased to see him nod and gave him his contact information before leaving, telling him to contact him anytime if he encountered any difficulties in his creative work. Director Scorsese was a professor at New York University, and he spoke like an old professor, very serious and patient. Link sincerely thanked this gentle old man. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123 Conflict. Link, don't you think Martin is a bit long-winded? Sophia handed him a glass of champagne after Martin Scorsese left. It's alright. After I became famous, many people in the film industry jumped out to criticize me, even clamoring to blacklist me. People like director Scorsese, who approach me with goodwill, are rare, so no matter how much he talks, I don't get annoyed. Link sighed. That seems true. Hearing you say that, I suddenly find old Martin kind of endearing. Next time he lectures me, giving me a long lecture, I'll be nicer to him too, Sophia said playfully. Just then, Link and Sophia noticed that Monica and Richard Gere seemed to be arguing. Monica walked over, looking unhappy. Honey. What happened? Link went up and took her hand, asking. Richard Gere invited me to dance, but I refused. He kept pestering me, and Dustin Hoffman told me he'd introduce me to a movie role if I agreed to dance with Richard Gere. I said I didn't care and wouldn't dance with a rude man. You did well. Link put his arm around her back and looked in the direction of Richard Gere and Dustin Hoffman. Richard Gere pointed to Monica's location and said something to Dustin Hoffman. The two of them laughed heartily. Richard Gere seems like a gentleman, but I didn't expect him to be like this in private, Sophia said. Link smiled coldly. Richard Gere's image in movies was alright, but his reputation in foreign media was extremely poor, for two reasons: interfering in other people's marriages and meddling in Dongda University's internal affairs. In January of this year, a major event occurred in the international fashion world. The famous international supermodel Tina Chow passed away from AIDS. She was the first famous woman to publicly announce that she had AIDS, and she was 41 years old. Tina Chow was of Japanese descent. Her father was a U.S. military officer stationed in Japan, and her mother was Japanese. In 1972, she married Michael Chow, a prominent Chinese-American businessman and founder of the famous Chow's restaurant chain. In 1989, Richard Gere interfered in their marriage, leading to their divorce at the end of 1989. At the end of last year, Richard Gere married supermodel Cindy Crawford, and earlier this year, Tina Chow passed away. Because Tina Chow was a socialite with significant international fame in the fashion world, her affair with Richard Gere was widely publicized at the beginning of the year. Some media reported that after Tina Chow announced her HIV diagnosis, Richard Gere quietly went to the hospital for a checkup. Furthermore, he was known for his anti-University of Tokyo, UTC, having established related foundations, produced anti-UTC propaganda films and advertisements, and harboring deep animosity towards the university. His films were banned from screening at the UTC cinema. Richard Gere also allegedly kissed a Bollywood actress during a film promotion in India, sparking protests from the Indian public, resulting in the burning of the film posters by fans and his subsequent ban in India. This guy is all show and no substance, a truly despicable person. Mr. Richard Gere, I heard you're inviting my girlfriend to dance. Link led Monica to Richard Gere and his group. That's right, I'm the one inviting her. I'm a great dancer. You can have your girlfriend try. Richard Gere smirked, revealing his signature smile, which was quite deceptive, making him seem like a decent person. My dancing is pretty good too. Want your mother to try? Link said politely. What? The moment Link spoke, Dustin Hoffman and the others froze. A 5-meter radius around Link fell silent. You could hear a pin drop, as if someone had pressed pause. Damn it, what did you say? Richard Gere's face instantly contorted with rage, his once handsome features now bulging with muscles. My dancing skills are indeed quite good. Don't believe me? Ask your dear mother to try. I guarantee she'll have a great time. Fuck. You Qing Dynasty bug, you're asking for it. Richard Gere was furious, no longer caring about showing off, and swung a fist at his face. Link, get out of the way, Monica and Sophia shouted urgently. Link smiled calmly. As a genuine Chinese, who didn't know a few tricks of Chinese kung fu? Seeing the fist coming at him, he took 2 steps back, and as the other man caught up, he quickly dodged to the side. In his dodge, his right foot was a little slow and accidentally hooked Richard Gere's ankle. Richard Gere immediately lost his balance, tumbling onto the table where the champagne tower was placed. The 5-tiered champagne tower crashed to the ground, some of the glasses hitting Richard Gere head-on, instantly turning him into a drenched mess. Wow, a gasp rippled through the crowd as everyone at the party turned to look. Chinese Kung Fu, Keanu Reeves exclaimed. 1/8 Chinese, Reeves had loved Chinese Kung Fu since childhood. Seeing Link easily dodge and knock Richard Gere down, he couldn't help but shout. Richard fell down on his own. Where did this Chinese Kung Fu come from? Nicolas Cage looked on in confusion. I've researched it. There's a kind of Kung Fu in China called Kigen. It can injure or even kill without physical contact, Reeves said seriously. Hearing this, the people around gasped, quickly moving 3 meters away from Link, afraid of being affected by his Kigen. Link glanced helplessly at Reeves. Rumor had it that this guy suffered from severe depression and rarely spoke. Why was he so talkative today? He had secretly used a hook kick to hide his attack, hoping everyone would think Richard Gere had lost his footing and fallen. Now that Keanu Reeves had explained, he couldn't keep his achievements hidden any longer. Don't misunderstand, there's no such thing as Kigen, and I don't know it. Mr. Richard Gere was drunk and accidentally fell. It has nothing to do with me, Link said, shrugging. Everyone looked at him. Richard Gere had just been furious and tried to hide him, but somehow, he not only missed but also fell flat on his face. Before Richard Gere fell, Link hadn't done anything except dodge. Could this guy really know Kigen? Link, do you really know Chinese Kung Fu? Sophia asked excitedly. No, you definitely do, otherwise you wouldn't have lasted so long in bed. In bed? How do you know? Link looked at her puzzlingly. Sophia blushed, not telling him about seeing his private videotape with Monica, and pulled Monica aside, laughing. Monica told me. Monica looked at him with affection, not saying anything more. It's not kung fu, it's talent, Link shrugged and smiled. Chapter 124 Hitting Someone? Link, how could you hit someone? Dustin Hoffman stepped forward aggressively. When did I hit someone? When Richard Gere charged at me, I had my hands behind my back. What did I use to hide him? You need evidence to slander someone, Link asked, his hands behind his back. Even if you didn't hit anyone, you insulted Richard's mother just now, which was extremely rude. Which of my words insulted Mr. G's mother? I just asked Mr. Richard G if he still invited my girlfriend to dance in a forceful tone after she explicitly refused. Richard G said yes, boasting about his dancing skills and inviting Monica to try. My dancing skills are also good, so I also invited Mr. G's mother to dance. Tell me, which word in my words insulted Richard G's mother? You? Dustin Hoffman wanted to accuse him of inviting Richard G's mother to dance, but Link was using Richard G's words. If Richard G's words were unambiguous, then Link's words were also fine. Richard G's anger was probably due to the ambiguity of his words. Mr. Dustin Hoffman, I heard you're going to introduce my woman to a movie role. Link sized up the short, unremarkable Dustin Hoffman. You think you're worthy, you? Dustin Hoffman glared at him, his fists clenched tightly. He struggled a few times, but didn't dare to attack him like Richard Gere had. Although Dustin Hoffman was a very good actor, having won 2 Academy Awards for Best Actor, and was Jewish, his private life was chaotic. He was a psychopath and later faced multiple sexual harassment accusations during the Me Too movement. Link, Richard Gere's angry shout came from behind. Link glanced coldly at Dustin Hoffman, then turned to look at Richard Gere, who was crawling up from a pile of champagne glasses. This guy was covered in champagne, his hair was a mess, his suit was patchy, and his hands were dripping blood. He was no longer the beastly man he had been before. Mr. Gere, we're all civilized people. Why resort to violence? Link said calmly. Damn it, how dare you insult my mother? I've never seen such a rude and shameless person, Richard Gere asked angrily. You invited my girlfriend to dance, and I invited your mother as an equal. How is that an insult? Even if it is an insult, so what? People like you who don't understand respect for women, like to break up other people's families, and like to engage in racial discrimination are probably because your mother didn't raise you well. She's not innocent, damn it, I'm going to kill you. Richard Gere wanted to rush forward again, but was stopped by the people around him, who advised him not to fight anymore, as Link knew Chinese Kung Fu. Link looked at the people around him and politely apologized to Director Capella and the others. I apologize, everyone, for interrupting your enjoyment. I'm a director, and before that, I was a stevedore. I haven't received much education, and I don't know how to be tolerant or value harmony. I only know that whoever doesn't respect me doesn't deserve my respect, and whoever shows me friendship, I will treat them as a friend. Regarding the conflict with Richard Gere, I believe I did nothing wrong, but I'm very sorry to have shown you this mess. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just a newcomer to the film industry with little experience. I'm very fortunate to have been invited by Director Capella to this lavish party and to meet so many outstanding filmmakers. It's an honor for me. And I regret that I can no longer listen to the teachings of these seniors. Please allow me, on behalf of Director Coppola's fans, to wish Bram Stoker's Dracula great box office success and rave reviews. Goodbye, everyone. Link bid farewell to Director Capella and left the party with Monica. Link, wait, let's go together. Sophia Capella, tugging at her dress, caught up, excitedly praising his sharp retort to Richard Gere, saying it was satisfying, logical, and left Richard Gere speechless. Link smiled, put one arm around Monica, and pulled Sophia along, leaving the party. Sophia, Director Capella called out, but Sophia left without turning back. Director Coppola's face slowly darkened. Old man, don't be upset. Link is young, handsome, and talented. Having a son-in-law like him isn't bad, Martin Scorsese laughed. Director Capella glared at him, put his arms behind his back, and stormed off. Youth is wonderful, Director Martin Scorsese sighed. After they left, party staff came in to clean up, and everyone continued chatting and dancing. Keanu, where are you going? Nicolas Cage saw Keanu Reeves walking out. Link knows Chinese Kung Fu, I want to learn a few moves from him. Wait, let's go together, Nicolas Cage and Keanu Reeves also left. Although the premiere party for Bram Stoker's Dracula was ruined by Richard Gere and his friends, the film performed well at the box office. Over the weekend, it grossed $30.52 million in 2,491 theaters across North America, securing the top spot at the box office. The second week saw another $15.02 million, bringing the total to $53.72 million. Projected box office returns are over $80 million, a sure win for the film given its $40 million production budget. However, after the release of Bram Stoker's Dracula, numerous negative news stories about Monica Bellucci appeared in the media. She was described as a porn star who gave a daring performance in the film, including many nude scenes. She was also said to be Link's live-in girlfriend, maintaining a close relationship since the filming of Paranormal Activity. Other news mentioned Link's affairs with Monica Bellucci, Jennifer Connelly, Sofia Coppola, and others, implying that Link was a womanizer. The report also mentioned that Link ignored his ex-girlfriends after becoming successful. These news reports attempted to attack him through Monica Bellucci's story. Neither Link nor Monica Bellucci have responded to this yet. This week marks the 20th week of Paranormal Activity in theaters in North America, where it has grossed $312 million. Currently, fewer than 5 theaters are still showing it, earning a few $1,000s per week, and it is expected to be pulled from theaters in about 24 weeks. Overseas, it has grossed $323 million, with most regions having already shown it, leaving only a few. The film's global box office is around $635 million. Link's total earnings from this film are approximately $320 million, including box office revenue sharing, video rights, home theater rights, and sequel rights. After receiving his share, and just before the end of the year, Link distributed $2 million in bonuses to his company employees, including the 3 top executives, Liu Xiaoli, Monica Bellucci, Chris Bauer, and lead actor Jeremy Northam, with each receiving at least $50,000. After distributing the bonuses, the company gave everyone a 3-week holiday. Everyone went home for Christmas and New Year's. Link, Monica, Liu Xiaoli, and Liu Kaiankian flew to Salt Lake City, Utah for a vacation. The winters there are snowy and the scenery is beautiful, making Christmas there quite fun. They also took the opportunity to attend the 9th Sundance Film Festival to see if there were any new films worth watching. Chapter 125 Eating Melons. By early 1993, the nominations for the 50th Golden Globe Awards and the 65th Academy Awards were announced. Unsurprisingly, Barrett and Paranormal Activity received nominations. Robert Downey Jr., however, received a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Drama and an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor for Chaplin. Tom Cruise also received a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor. Robert Reiner, who had previously criticized Link, received Golden Globe and Academy Award nominations for Best Director for A Few Good Men. After receiving his Academy Award nomination, Robert Downey Jr. expressed his feelings on a celebrity interview program. He stated that when Chaplin was released the previous year, it faced suppression from its peers and unfair treatment in promotion and distribution, resulting in lower than expected box office performance. Now, Chaplin has gained recognition from the Oscar and Golden Globe judges, receiving multiple nominations including Best Actor. This fully proves that Chaplin is a high-quality film and demonstrates that box office performance does not necessarily reflect the quality of a film. Robert Downey Jr. was very emotional as he spoke, his eyes reddening and his lower lip trembling, like someone who had suffered a great injustice and endured more than 10 years of torment, finally being exonerated. This guy is a real actor, even better than in the movies. At the Provo vacation home in Utah, snow was falling outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. Monica sat cross-legged on the soft sofa, holding Liu Kaiankian in her arms. Liu Kaiankian nestled like a kitten in her arms, leaning against her large chest, her big, dark eyes fixed on the television screen, motionless, letting Monica comb her hair. Maybe he's having a drug relapse, the media reports he's an addict. Liu Xiaoli was also annoyed with the Robert Downey Jr. Link. Do you think he has a chance of winning the Golden Globe for Best Actor? The chances are slim. Al Pacino is nominated for Best Actor in a Drama, and he has a better chance this year. Link sat in front of the fireplace, a large fire burning inside. He shook the iron rack, helping the 3 of them roast meat. On television, Robert Downey Jr. wiped his eyes and said that while Chaplin didn't perform well at the box office, It received recognition from various film awards, while some films, despite their phenomenal box office success and hundreds of millions of dollars in global revenue, are considered terrible. He said these kinds of films are only good for making money and will be forgotten by audiences in a few years. The host asked you if he was referring to Paranormal Activity. Downey Jr. shrugged, indicating that it was unnecessary to mention, as many people already knew the film. He added that such films set a very bad example for his peers, leading many to prioritize profit over quality and artistic merit when making movies. He argued that the success of these films would not only increase the number of bad movies but also prevent many good films from receiving attention and recognition, causing a bad money drives out good situation, leading to the decline of the film industry and unemployment for all filmmakers. He concluded that these films were extremely despicable and should have been banned before their release. Downey Jr. concluded with gritted teeth, as if he harbored a deep-seated hatred for Paranormal Activity. The host asked Robert Downey Jr. which film he would choose if he had two movies to choose from, one that would gross hundreds of millions of dollars and the other that would win the Academy Award for Best Picture. Downey Jr. unhesitatingly chose Best Picture, stating that he makes movies because he loves the art of filmmaking, not for money, and he doesn't care about money at all. The host also mentioned Downey Jr.'s new film, Paranormal Activity, asking about its release date of next March, and congratulated him on its box office success. Downey Jr. interjected, saying that he hoped the film would receive recognition from professionals more than box office success, displaying a remarkable indifference to fame and fortune. Link shook his head, took out some grilled beef, and shared it with Monica Liu. Although the taste was average, grilling meat in a snowy villa felt quite nice. Robert Downey Jr.'s interview, broadcast on ABC, attracted a lot of attention. His public criticism of Link and Paranormal Activity on the show also brought Paranormal Activity back into the public eye more than 4 months after its release. Many filmmakers publicly supported Robert Downey Jr., joining the criticism of Link and Paranormal Activity, reiterating that Link was a bad director and Paranormal Activity was a bad film, advising audiences to be cautious when watching Link's movies. Due to the overwhelming criticism, Link had to take some time during his vacation to deal with the matter. His response was simple. He had Michael Leeson accuse Robert Downey Jr. of double standards in an interview with the Los Angeles Times. Before Chaplin, Robert Downey Jr. had starred in many commercial films, including Hot Kids, The Nanny, Below Zero, The Terminator, and The Reincarnated. These films were generally mediocre, low-budget commercials, and Robert Downey Jr.'s performances in several of them were also mediocre, resembling a male decorative figure. Now that Robert Downey Jr. has made a reasonably good art film, he's criticizing others for making bad films, a classic case of double standards. Given his experience, he has no right to criticize anyone. Guess what? The studio's response hit the nail on the head, leaving Robert Downey Jr. speechless. Then Richard Gere and Dustin Hoffman, among others, spoke out in support of Robert Downey Jr., claiming that Downey's words were for the benefit of the entire film industry and his intentions were good. They argued that Downey had become arrogant and unwilling to listen to advice after achieving success, and this wasn't Downey's fault. Before Link's team could respond, Quentin Tarantino addressed the issue at a film event. While discussing movies with several filmmakers, Tarantino recounted his experience visiting the set of Paranormal Activity in May with Steven Spielberg. He saw Link filming in a villa, starring a man and a woman, and assumed it was a pornographic film, suggesting Link change the script and not go astray. However, Link ignored his advice and insisted on making Paranormal Activity. Tarantino predicted at the time that Link's new film would definitely lose money, but after its release, the film grossed over $600 million worldwide, an astronomical figure. Quentin Tarantino shrugged helplessly, saying that when he saw Link's film, he never imagined it would be such a huge success, grossing over $600 million worldwide. It was practically a miracle. Tarantino said it was fortunate Link didn't heed his advice to revise the script, otherwise the world would have missed out on a great thriller. Using this example, Tarantino discussed the issue of independent filmmaking. He believes that independent directors have their own style, and even if it has flaws or isn't mature enough, it's still their own style. Others, not understanding filmmaking, should offer unsolicited advice. Besides, Link's 2 consecutive blockbuster films, with box office returns exceeding 3,000 times, mean no one in the film industry can offer him guidance. Tarantino's words sparked heated debate within the film industry. Amidst the controversy, the media also reported on the alleged conflict between Link and Richard Gere at the premiere party of Bram Stoker's Dracula. The media claimed that a bloody fight broke out between Link and Richard Gere at the party, with the scene described as extremely violent. This was a very big and fresh story, and the American public eagerly joined in the gossip. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.